fully realize how weird that is to say, but like it looks nice.
It also has an OnlyFans account.
Oh, but it looks like
That's
that. You
how the
must have,
stream starts.
did you get that chair when you moved?
Yeah, this was like one of the first things that I bought when I moved here. I was like, my old chair is
Nice
kind of
chairs.
falling apart. And I sit in this chair like 8 to 14 hours a day, every day. So,
Oh yeah. For the sake of future you, that's a good investment.
Yeah.
Nice chair.
well, it's got like the lumbar support and everything. It's nice.
Yeah.
Feels nice on my back.
Well. All right. This is
Anywho,
session 25.
this
Man,
is session 25.
so many.
More than we've had in any other campaign.
Yeah. More than
Except
both
for
of my
Storm King's
campaigns
Thunder.
combined.
No. Wasn't yours 17 each?
Oh, it was 17 each. Oh yeah, you're right. So once we get to
34. Yeah.
30, yeah. 10 more
So
sessions.
10 more sessions, and then we'll surpass yours. And I don't think we ever figured out how many we actually played in Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah, true.
That's neither here nor there. What happened last time?
Well,
Oh,
start of my notes. After slam jamming Wander's wigwam, he leans into his face and says, "Return." Someone asked a question, and it turns out Council is not a shapeshifter. Tizol shouted during combat, "Your mind, Council, your mind is your own," and the Council just replies, "Do not fight back."
Mm-hmm.
As Felix is downed, he tears at Felix's armor and says, "Erase the mistake." Dispel magic does nothing. There are no magical effects on Council, which is interesting. Let's see. Skip view. Felix hits him with red alchemite. Boom. The entire front of Council is burned. The Bromunculus downs Council with a little laser beam.
True. Little pew, laser beam is what finally got him down. I rewatched it today. You went down 4 times.
Yes. The left side of Council's head is very burned and damaged. Wanda heals Council for 4. Council wakes up in agony, burned. 2 levels of exhaustion immediately. He's in searing pain. His vision is not the same as it was. He has no depth perception because his left eye is now gone. His exposed muscle and brow bone. Magic healing isn't repairing everything, it's just making it scab over. But his skin and muscle isn't growing back. We travel for 30 minutes away.
No one feels bad for Council.
Not even a little bit.
It's kind of tricky too because it's not his fault, but at the same time, it's hard to disassociate when someone's trying to kill you in a different form. You know.
You sound biased.
Yeah. If Council were in Council's group, he wouldn't travel with Council. I'm just saying. We travel for 30 minutes. What was that?
Nothing. Keep going.
We travel for 30 minutes away from the battlefield and set up camp. It's easier walking than it was through the dunes. There's much less sand. Watches, Revan sees a light glow to the west, not much brighter than the previous night. Wander notices Council shivering in his sleeping bag because he's naked. Tizol notices the wildlife and plant growth we saw from after the rains has now completely gone away. It has returned to normal. He also sees the glow to the west. Tizol...
The glow, just quick interject, the glow, Revan clarified if this was like the glow you'd see from a city over the horizon, and it was not that.
Yeah.
It was dimmer.
Tizol has heard stories from the other Knight Auron who make a pilgrimage to his home island. They have mentioned a dull light coming from a mountain mountain north of the nest. It is a darker light type of glow.
I never said home island.
Home island.
Sure, you said north of the nest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A pilgrimage.
Not their home island. Their home is the nest.
To his home. Right. There we go. Felix thinks the glow is similar to the molten metal or stone, superheated elements of Earth. That would make sense since we have seen pyroclastic remnants on our travels through the desert. Council now has 1 level of exhaustion. Day 10. Tizzle leads. He gets a 13 on his roll. We start walking through the desert, largely flat, nothing much to see. Revan's in the back notices something behind us at the edge of his vision in the sky. Almost looks like a dark cloud, but very, very far away. He notices it in the morning and then again in the afternoon. It's staying at the same distance. It could be one creature or several, so he looks through his monocular to see that it's a group of birds. Council studies them for a minute, and it turns out they are larger than normal birds, with one bird somewhat in the middle that is much larger than the rest. When we stop, they stop. For watches, it's Wanda and Council. We do pairs. Wanda notices early on in the watch that the birds resume their previous pattern. Wanda observes and then returns to the group, moving slightly closer. Revan and Tizol, nothing new. The same glow to the west. Felix and Bromunculus, nothing new. Until the sun comes up, he sees the birds slightly closer. Council still has 1 level of exhaustion because he can't sleep well. And then we roll d20s. And everyone except Tizol did poorly.
That's correct.
That's it.
Anything else to add by anyone? Or otherwise, that's a pretty good summation.
Was indeed.
Okay. The name of tonight's session is Fractured.
Oh boy. Is the thing you sent last session something we will have for until our next rest?
Good question. To answer indirectly, upon waking with the prompts, with the thoughts, with the things that were sent to you, everyone except Tizal, you feel weighed down as you continue to travel during the daylight hours.
Okay.
You're not sure how long it will last. And that's all I'll say about it.
Okay.
I'm sure that it's just eating Tizal inside at this point.
Nope. About time something bad happens to everyone else.
Council wakes up and for a split moment forgets that he lost his eye because it happened in such a short and traumatic way.
Mm-hmm.
And so the start of his morning is pretty rough. He's like, oh yeah, I'm naked. Oh yeah, half of my face is missing.
Does he like rub his eyes?
I am in pain. Oh, I have something in my eye. Oh wait, I don't have an eye. So he just kind of sits there with his hands on his lap like this and just kind of sits quietly gathering himself for about 2 minutes before standing up.
Are you down to no exhaustion now? 1 level of exhaustion.
I've had 1 level of exhaustion since the combat, and I like renewed the next day. It was because I didn't sleep well. So did I sleep well last night?
Yes, you slept fine last night.
Okay.
Probably the most uncomfortable part to any of you about where you slept, next to the small rocks like structure. If you remember, you were kind of looking for something to hide behind. Is while you are hidden more to the east, you're exposed to the west, so there was a breeze on you all night. So it was fairly chilly. Even now in the morning, with the sun kind of barely coming up over the horizon, it's still a little chilly. Not freezing cold, not middle of the night cold, but not great either.
So Felix, he woke up and he's feeling something he has never felt before, really. And can he tell that? Does he? especially the only one that knows what is going through his head right now.
He is the only one who knows what's going through his head. How do you mean can he tell? Like, can he tell if this is something internal or?
He's trying to figure out if this is truly, these feelings are coming from himself or if it's a external thing. Or even if he can even take a step back and recognize that this is weird.
Make an insight check. Self-insight. Lots of those rolls in this campaign.
Ooh. That is, what is my insight? Dirty 20.
Nice.
Felix feels less that it is an external force or anything like that, and more like it's almost a deeper, like more to use the word that I've used with Alex's character before. It's almost like a more primal thing. Not something he would normally feel or normally think about, but it's something deep within him that has kind of bubbled to the surface, in a way.
Got it. Yeah, so it might not be apparent, but he's pretty troubled by his own feelings.
Is his mask open?
If it's daytime, no.
Okay.
The sun.
Council will try and read his face and do his job as a counselor, but not happening.
Instead, you just see the red and orange glow.
The
a lot
puffing,
of smoke.
the puffing has increased.
Yeah.
He goes through like 8 cigars.
He just has the
It's
one.
never ending.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, really, Tizal, you're the only one who wakes up feeling perfectly fine. Probably due to how vigilant you were the night before in your watch for the other birds.
His brain's already full. I can't really feel more.
Yeah. He feels safe. He knows that he did a good job during his watch. There's nothing for him to be afraid of.
So all of this is happening behind Tizal because the second he wakes up, he's staring behind at the birds to get a lay of what's going on. Like he is laser focused on them. He doesn't even notice if the rest of the group is dealing with any type of affliction. He's completely unaware because he is laser focused behind them.
Mm-hmm. Are you like studying the horizon? You're just looking to see if you see them?
I'm looking to see if I see them and if they are advancing on us.
Okay, make me a perception check.
Are there any? Well, he's
22.
Go ahead.
22?
22.
You can tell these birds are early risers. They are definitely closer to you than they were the night before, the last time you saw them. Not dangerously close, but they are to the point where if you were to study them for some period of time, you would probably be able to like make out what they are, or at least more details about them than you were before. Because previously what you were able to glean is just that, yeah, there's some bigger birds with like an even bigger bird, and they're kind of following us.
He's going to do that.
Okay, just gonna study him.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything in the morning?
Yeah, Revan goes up to Tizal and good morning, Tizal. Is your water flask refilled again?
He held it up.
Could I get some of it?
He hands it over. Well, he's not breaking eye contact with the birds behind and not really responding, but he's interacting.
Okay. So I've got like a what are the packs I have? navigator's pack, a dungeoneer's pack. Like, so I must have like a couple canteens or something, right, to fill with water. I would assume just
Yeah,
general
you
pack
probably
stuff.
got some kind of water skin.
Yeah, okay. So I fill, whatever couple containers I have full of water and then hand it back and say a little bit louder so the rest of the group can hear. Boys, I'm heading back. This isn't working out for me. I feel we're not moving in the right direction. This vast ocean of sand is killing me inside. I need to head back. Anyone want to join me?
Sure. Revan, what brings on such a change of heart? We're a good piece into the desert at this point. Even if this wasn't perhaps the right direction that we should be going, it, this is anything but the right time to turn back. What's happening?
This can't be what I'm destined for. I've spent my life on the ocean. I need to get back to her. I should be transporting cargo. It's what I know. Traveling across the desert. It doesn't fit. It's not right. None of this quite feels right. I think we should all think about heading back.
Wonder grabs Revan's shirt and goes, "Do you think that perhaps I am also not happy in the desert right now? Have you ever considered that perhaps every second of this has been miserable for me since we left those accursed mountains? This is all terrible. We've all known that from the first moment."
Aye, my friend, and I wish for you to have a better life as well. You should join me, and we should head back.
That where the compass is pointing.
Yes, I was going to ask.
What do you mean?
Was the compass pointing back towards Orin now? Is it? If it's where we need to go.
Our previous point of destination has not changed. I've been struggling with this decision for a while, too. This no longer feels right. I'm not even sure I should have this compass any longer. There's no possible way with the life I've led that these chain of events should have led to me to be the one to have this, and I feel this is futile.
Last
What-
night, while I was sleeping, my mind was racked with visions of killing my own people. Something that has actually happened. It is a memory and a feeling that I am not familiar with. This lingering doubt has been poisoning my mind since we left. And it feels like it's starting to affect all of us in our own ways.
I believe it has. And I think we should start listening to what's inside of us.
We asked a question of the compass, the direction for us to make the most change to find the answers for our journey. And it still points west. To leave now would be to undo everything we have done until this point. And without Tizol, we would all die.
How do
Said
we know
these
we
were-
can trust this compass? It appeared in my pocket one day. We don't know anything of this or these people and this land. None of us are from here. None of this makes sense.
You're right. It doesn't.
Why
And
me?
will you be able to go back to your ship and be okay not knowing?
I don't have a ship anymore. But why me? Why you, Council? And Felix and Wander and Tizal? How did we end up here together on this journey? And what's to say any of this is the right thing to be doing?
When faced with doubt, I often empty my thoughts. I take a sword to my mind and cut it to ribbons. So that all that I'm left with is this moment right now. And I know that might sound like a shallow platitude. But I know that I'm here because I made a choice to save my people. And if I go back, that won't change. So I cannot leave. It would be better for me to die trying than to live and give up. I don't know why you all left your homes or your motivations.
I didn't leave. If you recall, I was accused of murder, of which was not true. They took away everything I had, my friends, my family, my ship, my life.
True? They did.
I am a man without nothing, without anything.
Where would you return to?
I don't know. I would try to find my crew, put back together the pieces of the life, and avenge those who wish to forsake me and accuse me of this heinous crime.
And perhaps if you return to the places you came from, you would experience similar treatment to what you did previously.
Most likely.
Going, going to find your old crew and back to things you have faced in the past. When you are with a new crew and moving toward what the fathomless wants from you, the compass is still pointing best. We know there is great power in the compass from the High Priestess. It would seem unwise to turn back now.
Now, it's interesting that you all talk about this doubt. I've never really experienced it myself. I've gone through my whole life not listening to anyone because I knew what was right for me to do.
Has that
Yet,
changed?
yet this morning, I've doubted everything, even tampering with alchemite.
And you wonder?
I have to confess, I I've been experiencing doubt for a little while now. Um, I haven't expressed that doubt. I didn't want to weigh you down, the rest of you, down with it. However, I I I miss the groves. Oh, I miss the groves. I ache for them.
I would almost call it an unnatural feeling, but this feeling seems genuine.
It seems most of us had some sort of invasive thought over the night.
What,
I've re-
what is this feeling?
You feel the same as you did yesterday, Tizzle.
Yes.
You aren't second guessing this journey?
To by second guess, is this a phrase to mean unsure of oneself?
Yes.
Aye.
I have never felt that once in my life. Where I go, there is a story that will be told in my trail. Going west is correct. We should continue.
This entire journey feels so foreign, so unnatural. After spending a life at sea, to be surrounded by desert and not a drop of water as far as we can see, save for your magical canteen. This surely can't be what we're destined for.
There are no trees either. Well,
Yep.
sorry, wander, of course. There are no non-living trees. It is uncommon for me as well, but the unknown, more often than not, when you explore it, you will find what it is you're looking for. I am certain of this.
Do we all agree that the level of coincidences don't seem to naturally line up? All of us were on the same ship. We all ended up in the same place. Revan has the compass. I have whatever is happening to be going on.
As soon as you say that, Revan throws the compass.
Wander walks over and picks up the compass.
Revan just drops down to his knees and just ah!
There's something to what you're saying there, Council. It does seem. I left my home a while ago for. Well, I left my home a while ago, and I've been to a handful of places. And I would agree. Usually, when I adventure around, I hop from one boat to another, things happen. I rarely run into the same people. This is very peculiar, the way that we were put together and the way that we've been linked together since.
I agree. And I also agree with everything Revan has said. None of this makes sense. And yet, we are here. And we are still going forward. That means something is happening. From what you described of my transformation, the flame coming from my head was green. Given what we know from green alchemite, that might have been pure life force. With the words that were said of return and undo the mistake, and now these deep thoughts coming from nowhere. What are we? I don't believe I am just Elm. I think there is something else going on. I think what we are perceiving now is just a film, a layer of existence. And I refuse to turn back until I find out. There is something very strange happening to our world, and I feel like we are at the center of it.
I have to admit that curiosity is what drives me as well. It's what caused me to leave the groves that I grew up in. It's what caused me to strike out, and it's what caused me to time after time when you fine bozos have gotten me into trouble and near death. I stay with you because I have to know. I know that I can't return to the grove and be content, having no idea how this story ends. It would eat away at me for as long as I sprouted new buds in the spring.
Will none of you turn then and head back? Walk away from this futility, this insanity, and attempt to return to some semblance of normal?
I didn't leave my home because I wanted normal, Revan.
Revan, turning back to where you were accused of killing royalty, that to you is sane? Heading back to a civilization that cast you out and accused you of heinous acts that you do not admit you did, and I believe you, Revan. Going back is crazier than continuing west.
What lies to the west? What's there for us?
Answers, glory, danger. Pick. But we know what lies east. We've been east.
What would you say if I told you I wanted to abandon all alchemite research?
I would say that's your life's work, and you shouldn't do such a thing. It's your
Because that's
passion.
that's what my heart tells me right now. And I think your heart is telling you something similar.
It does seem that way.
This morning, my heart was telling me it was a mistake to have ever left the grove. That this is all completely wrong, and I should return immediately.
There's something my grandfather wrote that I've never really understood until now. Elm don't use metaphors. We speak directly. Symbolism doesn't suit us. And one of his lines was, "When the road is long and weary, all you need is a good fork." And to me, I thought that was speaking of preparation. A meal kit, something simple as cutlery to eat food, would provide a quality of life on a difficult journey that isn't otherwise provided. But now I believe the fork is in reference to the road itself. When the road is long and weary, all you need is a good fork. And I think we are at that fork now. It has been
Certain.
weary. And I feel like going back would be worse.
My people have a similar saying, but with towels.
Council just slowly turns his head to look at Wander.
Are these feelings changing at all during the course of this conversation?
They're still there. You can't get rid of having felt something just by talking about something
Right.
else.
Right.
Yeah.
But is it persisting just as much as it has been?
Make me another insight check.
It's difficult with feelings because you could be mourning, the death of a family member, but talking about it doesn't get rid of that feeling. It just makes it easier to hold, to grasp.
Right.
Yeah,
It's true.
I got an 8.
Feelings just run up in the sand.
So the feelings are still there, but they're at this present point in time, they're not as strong as you felt during the night or felt when you woke up in the morning. Almost just like in the same way that, yeah, like if a family member dies or something like that, it's out of focus.
I didn't hear the last
Yeah,
10 seconds of what
Yeah,
Spencer
yeah, I
said. Was that
lost
just
you.
me?
You cut
I
out.
was
Spencer.
sorry. The object is still there. It's just out of focus. It's like if you take off your glasses.
Council, there's much wisdom behind that mask of yours. Lessons throughout a life that clearly has worn heavily upon you and weathered not only your skin, but your soul. For this day, I think I can find it within myself to push on. For I don't know if anything better lies back east.
I think we have only come as far as we have because of all of us together. And if you were to leave, we would be far weaker.
You would be sorely missed, my friend.
Well then, before we have any more doubt upon us, we should press on.
Wonder reaches down to give him a hand up.
You may feel like you've been born to travel the seas and explore the seas, but I think you were meant to explore the unknown, far beyond the reach of the ocean.
I hope
So let's
you're
see
right,
what's on the
Prince.
other side of this desert.
Besides, isn't the desert just a dry sea? Ah?
It's what's at the bottom of the ocean anyway, right? Just a
That
bunch
and
of
a
sand.
whole lot of corpses.
Yes.
That
Now
too.
let us add some more. Back to these birds. He looks behind him again.
Are there random thing?
Uh-huh.
We're looking around. Is there anything glistening on this rock formation near us? Like
Listening?
like alchemite?
You can make me a perception check.
Ooh, perception.
Tizal, while you're studying the birds. By the way, everybody can have a point of inspiration. That was fantastic.
Yay! I don't know what that does.
So at any point in time, you can burn it to roll with advantage on something.
Sweet.
Alright, well, we'll have plenty of terrible rolls to burn those up.
Can I retroactively use it on my nat 1? And retcon
No.
this whole scene?
Holy crap, natural 20.
Doubt
Yeah, I
erased.
stole power from Adam's dice.
Looking over the rocks, you don't see any alchemite glinting out. No.
Voodoo.
You do notice, however, there is something else that's glinting out. I'm assuming when you see some kind of shiny object inside of a rock, you'd probably call over Felix. And Felix can immediately identify that this is copper.
Oh,
That inside this rock formation that you're next to, there is something of a copper vein that you've been able to find.
yeah. Council not interested, but he's like, hey, Earth stuff. Dawn.
Felix pulls out his pickaxe and gives it a few tinks. Get some bits of copper to work with later.
Are you trying to like give it like good swings, or are you trying to be more delicate?
Can we be somewhere in the middle?
Start soft, get harder.
You can either make me a strength check or a sleight of hand check. You're probably going to go sleight of hand because of, I know your build. Tizal, while he's doing that, why don't you make me an investigation check on the birds?
Alrighty. A dirty 20.
Nice.
Sweet. You, Tizal, from this distance, and studying them, which what you have seen now as you've been kind of watching them while all of this is going on, you've seen them basically come up and go back down and come up and go back down and then go up, and then they got closer and then go back down and then come up and go back down and come up and get a little closer and go back down. So they're like inching their way closer to you. But they're also, it doesn't appear that they're certain that you're still there. They think that you are. And they heard Revan shout, which gives them some kind of something to go off of.
Sure. Is that Is that like a tactic he's aware of that is used like in stalking with intent to harm, or is that like does he recognize that pattern?
With your dirty 20, I would say you probably recognize it more as almost like a forager mechanic. So not something a predator would do.
Okay.
Where they're not like directly engaging, or they're not like pincering around or something like that. Like they're more like waiting and just checking that you're still there.
Okay. More reconnaissance than
Right.
any form of like trying to gain leverage to attack.
Right. Yeah, they're not being overtly aggressive.
Okay. All right. I would share that with the group.
Okay.
I got
I
a
wanna-
25 with my sleight of hand
Nice.
with using Flash of Genius. So
Nice. So you're able to you start with your pickaxe, and you get like a couple good clinks out of it, and you realize upon the first one or two swings that this stone is actually fairly soft, and this vein is pretty easy to get at. So you like kind of grab the pickaxe closer up to like where the actual pick is and start using it as more of like a delicate tool to pick away at the vein, and you're able to get probably like 2 or 3 pounds of copper, which isn't a ton, but it's at least a handful, if not more.
Gonna bring this to the scrapyard and get some cash.
Council's
Rock and
going-
stone.
Did he leave behind some like rocks and debris from?
Yeah. There's definitely debris from what he chiseled out.
Council's gonna take some of those and spell out the word in the sand. Spell out the word "Y" with a little question mark. Just so as the birds are flying closer, once they come to where we are now, if we have
Okay.
moved on, they would see it. He's gonna try and test their intelligence, basically.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
it.
So when after Wander helps Revan up and Tizal's looking at the birds, Revan walks up to Tizal and pulls his monocle out and kind of hands it, or like kind of nods to see if Tizal wants to use it at all, and says, "Do you recognize them? Are they of your kind, or are they a different kind of some other type of flying creature?"
I think he meant monocular, but I still want to imagine that you pulled out a monocle.
Did I say monocle?
Tizal is the
Yep.
Monopoly man.
Tizal needs
Yeah.
a monocle.
Didn't mean monocle. Yeah.
That's a good question, and one I'm also curious on. Can I try to investigate again, maybe with the monoculus? Monocular?
Monocular.
Homunculus? That's the word I was looking for.
You're trying to use that to gain what further insight?
Just understand their race, because I don't know that I've
Oh, sure.
did I figure that out yet?
Yeah, with this, yeah, you can make me another perception check.
Not 20. 24.
Wow.
I've been rolling really well. That's gonna dry up real soon.
You're blowing them before combat.
Yep.
Probably. Looking through, they're birds you're not familiar with. But from what you can tell, at this distance, you can see that they're almost like eagle-sized birds. So they're large birds, but they're not like overly large.
Right.
Except for the one, which, looking at it, you can see that is more of an Iran-sized bird than the others.
Is
So
it
it
around
is
colored? Like, is it dark? They're all dark birds, right?
no. From what you can see, for you as a player, they're vultures,
Okay.
and the larger creature is a very large vulture.
Got it.
What does Tizal? Does he share? Does he relay or answer the question?
Well, as a player, I know they're vultures, but with Tizal realized.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's like,
So
what's
Tizal has probably never experienced these kinds of
Right.
birds before.
Okay.
He could certainly like explain what they look like. Maybe mannerisms, something like that.
Yeah, he would explain they're eagle-sized, like not Iran-sized, other than the Iran-sized one.
Right.
And they're basically following us for some reason, but he doesn't know why.
Right.
Would Revan have knowledge of this type? Would that make sense to him? This description?
I was gonna say, do they behave like seagulls? But seagulls are way more aggressive than vultures.
Right.
Like, give me
I-
that fly.
I would say Revan probably not.
Okay.
The only one who I would allow to have a check on it would be Council. You can make a nature check.
18. My nature is terrible. 20.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
You, in your studying, probably at some point at least, have heard about these kinds of birds.
Like
So you
carrion
may be
birds?
more familiar with carrion than other kinds.
Coupling what Felix said about their tactics and not being aggressive, plus general descriptions, council will share this like they are most likely waiting for one of us to die. If they are hungry enough, that may change.
Tizal, the other thing that you notice about the birds is while the one that is ascending and descending is never the larger of the birds. When they are in flight, however, the larger of the birds is always at the front.
Makes sense. And the larger of the birds seems like you said he's a Ron-like, right?
He's like at least a Ron in size. Like this is a bird that's the size of a human being.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's comparable to Tizal.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Tizal, do you hand the monocular back?
Yeah. After gaining all that insight, he would hand it back and then explain everything.
Sweet.
I propose we keep moving, but as yesterday, keep an eye on them.
Aye.
Agreed.
Let's start walking.
Yeah.
All right. Who's going to be leading for the day?
Bonder, you go ahead.
Yeah.
I will say for anyone who has failed the check twice, you have disadvantage on your survival checks for the navigation.
Is that
What do you mean failed checks twice?
Under 10 is failed?
Wander knows that Barnabas knows that Wander has failed twice.
yeah?
Ah.
Is that something that Wander is aware of?
Good question. That he's aware of. I'll say yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I have a quick question about how, like, from a gameplay perspective. So, Revan hasn't my wisdom is I just get a 1 to survival, so I haven't been wanting to lead. But I do have. Is there any overlap with the navigator's tools that I have, or the proficiency I have with navigator's tools? Does that apply to this situation?
No, only because this isn't a like survival navigation check of a traditional sword where you're like looking at the stars or looking at different ways to navigate. This is strictly you know exactly where you need to go because of the compass. So there is no amount of like, all right, are we still on track? You know exactly where you need to go. This is just somebody who is being the most perceptive, keeping their eyes on the ground, making sure that you're following the most efficient path to make your way that way. That's why, like, I think it was Tizal who had seen, like, if we head north a ways, there's actually some rocks that'll make our day of travel easier.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Makes sense.
Otherwise, yeah, normally you'd absolutely have your proficiency with that.
11.
11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you begin making your way in that same kind of straight northwest direction, you notice there are rain clouds again on the horizon. You have a choice. Either you can continue to walk through them and see how you fare, or you could try to hunker down, see if there's some kind of like safety nearby that you could find.
Did we technically lose time traveling through the rain last time?
Uh,
Not lose time. It wasn't the most efficient.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
You did get washed off track.
Okay. But we're not in the dunes right now.
Correct. The dunes are to the north of you. Yeah, so you're not there. That's true.
I vote we keep pace.
Yes.
I agree. I think we should move on.
Makes sense.
It could be more dangerous than last time.
Tizal, with your expertise, do you think this would help us or hurt us with the whole bird situation?
Good question. What would Tizal think?
Make me a nature check.
9.
It wasn't really high DC. Since you are a bird creature, you know that flying in the rain is not great ever. You feel like if you were to continue through the rain and the birds were trying to follow you through the rain, they would probably have to land, or they would have to risk getting hurt.
Does he think, based on the size of the birds as he saw them, that we'd be able to actually start getting away if they're not flying through the storm, like using it as a diversion tactic?
If you are traveling for the rest of the day and they are not traveling, yeah, you'd be able to get some distance between them.
Okay. He would explain that to the group. We should press on. We may be able to get a little further away from the
I will
creatures.
say that our greatest danger right now, and that has seemed to always been the case, is getting separated.
Agreed.
And last time, if you recall, we got separated in the storm. And now that we have some mysterious bird creatures following us, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I'm confident if we stand our ground, we could fight these birds.
I agree.
I'm not confident if we get separated that we'd be able to do so. So while losing the birds does sound pretty nice, I think it's not worth the risk.
I have rope.
Literally just about to say the same thing.
That's not a bad precaution to make if you're confident in your knot tying skills.
I would let Revan tie him.
I certainly am.
Ah, yes.
I know how to string a crossbow. That's about it.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
If you're comfortable with that, I think that's a fair solution. We also aren't in the dunes, so we don't have to worry about being washed away.
If it goes poorly, it wasn't Felix's idea, and he told you so.
Felix did tell us so. Duly
So
noted,
what do you
friend.
propose? Just to wait for the rain to pass?
That's my proposition. But if we think we can navigate it without getting separated, that's
If
certainly
it gets
a good
bad, do we all agree that we will stop?
Well, I think it is best of us to either go or not go. If we decide to push on, and we tether ourselves with rope, we should continue to push on as much as we can. It would certainly help distance us
I
from
agree.
these birds.
I'm suggesting that if things get to an emergency level of navigation, that we wait and
At
not
what
press the
point
button.
do we confront the birds?
I don't view them as a threat right now.
I'm not saying to kill them, I'm saying to confront them. At least if they're grounded and we approach them. If they are hostile, they'll be a little bit at our mercy.
If we approach them in the rain, according to Tizol, we would be at the advantage.
Exactly.
Is that the plan? Go into the
And
rain, and if they follow, we turn around and confront them?
if things go bad, if things look like we might not be able to press on, it might be good to both stand our ground and to approach the birds if they are following us.
Agreed. I'm fine with that plan.
So to confirm, the plan is tie ourselves together with rope, walk through the rain. If the rain gets bad, stop and talk about it. If the birds get too close, turn around and confront but not attack. Is that accurate?
Agreed.
Don't shoot first, but if they do attack, we'll kill them.
Oh, we're pretty good at that. I'm not worried.
And don't get separated.
From a selfish perspective, I'm looking forward to being washed in the rain.
I suppose, yeah, you fleshies after you burn, there's yep, I know what you
Council just
mean.
holds his arms out and shows that most of his front is missing, including some of his face. He's got little bits of ash.
It
I feel for you, buddy. Burning's
it-
no good. No good.
All right. You press on into the rain.
Yeah, Council hands his rope to Revan and let we tie each other off in like
Okay.
6-foot increments, I guess.
Revan, do you just want to make me one survival check? That you can.
Am I proficient or anything?
Say you're
Since that-
proficient in not tying. Yeah.
Well, I think it ties into my sailor. I gotta look. I think it ties into the sailor background.
Yeah. You also do have your inspiration if you needed it. If you felt the roll was that bad.
It wasn't. So 14.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
You tie some pretty comprehensive knots in the rope, and everyone has now your little train that you're leading through the desert. Wander, if you would like to roll me a d4, as you are the one leading into the rain.
That determines the direction. Left, right.
One?
One.
Is that the right one?
You roll a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you now roll me a d10, please?
This has to be good.
You got
Still
one
isn't
route.
Good.
You got one route into the ground, and the D10 is how much water you drink.
That's
Mysterious.
a 10?
Oh,
A 10 or a
10.
1? A 10?
Yeah. Well, I rolled the 100s one and I rolled a 0. So that's
Okay.
a 10. Right?
Yes, that's a 10. Okay. So you, Wander, lead the party through the rain. About 30 minutes or so after you get into the rain, you notice that this rain has actually turned into something of a hail. And you are getting pelted with ice. The ice is not large. This isn't like golf ball size or anything. This is like Dippin' Dots. But it's still an uncomfortable feeling. It's not enough to dissuade the group from continuing on, though. After you have made it through the rainstorm, which continues for roughly 2.5 hours in which you're traveling, you notice one of your items is missing. If you would pick just one of your generic items to have lost, Wander.
Oh, really?
Yes, that is no longer on you.
Let's see.
Do you still have Revan's compass?
You said generic. You said generic. You said generic.
It's that generic.
Yeah.
That's what the D10 roll was. If you rolled
That
a
would-
1, your magic item is gone.
This is in the quest item part of your inventory.
Can't lose quest items. You soft lock the game.
Should
Chester.
like generic, like one of the. I have a backpack with something in it. Just lose a ration or something.
We could say that like your backpack like soaks through, and now there's a hole in the bottom of it. You've lost like one of the lotions that you bought at the start of this journey.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
no.
yeah. I have a sunscreen.
Yeah, so you lose the sunscreen.
Okay.
When you're doing an inventory later in the day, that you find that you have lost that.
Okay.
Other than that, it is a rather uneventful day.
How are the birds?
Looking behind you, you don't see the birds at this point in time.
Cool.
It's all dabs.
You guys set up camp for the night, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
After your
Yeah.
8 hours of travel.
Oh,
who's good?
Council walks up to Felix. Felix, I have an experiment I'd like to perform with raw alchemite. When we have some.
Can Wander hear this?
Yeah, he's speaking out openly.
Let's be
I'm
cautious
listening.
with the experiments for a few days at the very least, perhaps.
Oh, there are certainly benign experiments that can be conducted in the wilderness.
And I hope this would be benign.
You just lost a
I-
benign experiments.
You
That wasn't an experiment.
get a piece of alchemite might look nice in there, you know.
That is precisely what I was going to suggest. I'm not sure.
What?
We know alchemite absorbs elemental energy, and from what we saw of your apprentice, alchemite absorbs non-elemental energies as well. There is something obviously strange with my body, and I'm wondering what would happen if I had a piece of raw alchemite touching my skin for an extended period of time. What would it absorb? Would it be green? Would it be something else? And if you can find a piece and smooth it out enough to replace what I have lost due to my own shortcomings, it may be an interesting bit of information.
What has Kaz also discovered that alchemite has properties that I don't quite fully understand with sound. Perhaps one could be discovered with sight.
Agreed?
I do have a piece of raw alchemite, but I had it reserved for my own experiment.
This is more of a passing interest. You keep yours. If we find something new,
Next one we find.
I would need your assistance in making it not a jagged piece of stone in my skull.
We could do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Council goes to bed. He doesn't even offer to have a watch. Because he's naked and cold.
All right. Who does give the watch?
I can take first watch.
I could do one.
Did we say one can't do a watch after leading the party? Was that the rule?
No, it's if you lead the party after a night of doing watch. No, I don't think that we had a rule against it actually.
It
No,
wasn't
the
about
rule
watch.
was if you try to lead 2 days in a row, you would go
Right.
at
Thank you.
disadvantage.
Yep.
If you rolled under a 20.
Correct.
If you rolled over a 20, you don't have disadvantage.
So
Right.
Tizol
Mhm.
first, Felix second.
Wander will do the third watch.
Wander the third. Okay.
I'll do alarm.
Okay.
So I missed the
Alarm.
resolution of the storm. Are the birds still following us?
You cannot see the birds behind you.
Okay.
So the answer is maybe.
You don't see any birds.
I look up.
So when we're at camp,
They're below you. You're riding on them.
We were the birds.
I have two vultures like skates. And
The real
Turns out
treasure
we
was
were
the
the
birds you
birds the
became
whole
along the
time.
way.
we were the birds the whole time.
Checks
Chisel's
out.
like, yes, my plan.
And when we get to camp, is the storm still happening? Like when we stop?
No, the storm lasted for about 2.5 hours, so it was done by early afternoon.
So then before before going to bed or at whatever point before it gets dark, Revan wants to try and make like a extra good attempt. Pulls out the monocular and really looks to see if the birds are there at all.
Why don't you make me a perception check then? And you can
Ooh.
add your proficiency bonus and whatever.
It's gonna be 25.
25.
Yep.
Scanning the horizon behind you, you don't see them. However, doing a thorough scan of the horizon, you do see them south of you.
Oh.
They are south of you, and they look to be flying almost aimlessly, as if you have lost them. They don't see you.
Okay. I share that with the group, what I observed.
Are there any rock outcroppings or things to camp behind so they don't find us? Anything,
No,
obviously.
no. At this point, no, there's not.
Just gotta hope.
There's shrubs.
Yeah, there's probably some small dried out plant life here that's actually almost budded a little bit just from the storm that's passed. Again, like you see the tiniest little like glimpses of life forms in budding plants and small insects and lizards and stuff like that. You could probably find a little bit of cover, but nothing substantial.
Yeah.
How far are we on the map at this point? Like approximately?
So you would be on like the next tile.
Okay.
We're over halfway. Oh,
You are over halfway. Yeah. Anything else before you guys go to bed? Or Tizal, give me a watch.
Perception?
Yep. That's the one.
18.
18. Yeah, you do not really have anything happen during the night. But you do notice, again, kind of how Revan pointed out, now that he has pointed them out to the south, you can see them like just barely on the horizon. They are just like pinpoints against the southern sky.
How do the mountains look to the west?
Once the sun is fully down and it is just dark, you notice that same glow to the west. It's not any brighter or really any dimmer than it was the day before.
Cool.
All right.
I would wake up the next person, tell them what I saw.
Felix,
18 on my perception.
18. Same thing as Tizal. Not a whole lot to report. Do you also cast the protection against elements or whatever on yourself?
Should I?
I mean, it's up to
Am I-
you.
Does
Wait,
it
am I
get cold
taking?
enough?
Am I taking elemental damage? Because I could use it as a reaction.
So yeah, you would have to make me a Constitution check.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise,
That is. Ooh, I am proficient. Is this a saving? Oh, this is just a check.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, saving throw.
Oh, okay. Because I'm proficient in that. So that's 14 plus 3, 17, and sure, I'll use my flash of genius. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 22.
You realize that if you pull the wolf pelts out of your sleeping bag and you actually like open up your visor and stuff them down inside your suit, you can keep yourself a little bit warmer at night while still remaining vigilant. So that's what you do, and you're able to fight off any cold that would have affected you. Good job. Yeah, just put up your
A tank
Got
sleeping
him.
bag.
That's exactly right.
That suit would smell so bad.
Mm-hmm.
With the cigar smoke and the sweat. I think he's got some sort of like recycling system in there.
Yeah, you've never seen him pee.
Yeah, you don't know what happens. What it does with
That's
the
the suit
biofuel.
He's got a still suit from Dune. It's got
Exactly.
That's going into my
straw sticking
newts.
out.
Yep.
We have not seen Felix pee yet.
All right.
Felix
Then
pees
Wander, you are the
in
last
his
one. If you would like
Okay.
to give me a check.
This is a perception, or what is this? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
perception.
We go 22.
22. You do not have night vision, correct? Or dark vision?
No, but I cast it before my shift.
Oh, okay. So you are also able to see the same thing that the others have seen. Being a little more in tune with the earth and with the everything going on around you, you're able to sense that you're getting closer to the mountains, like just in like the subtle vibrations that you can feel through the sand. You are closer than you were before, which obviously you are because you're headed in a direction. But you can actually feel it at this point. Being out in the middle of the desert, it was so deadened that there was no way you could feel it. But at this point, you can almost pick up on those subtle vibrations. And you're able to see the same red glow.
Oh,
Okay.
man. I have the Beach Boys' good vibrations in my head right
Right.
now.
I had Marky Mark saying feel the vibrations stuck in my head. Oh, Spencer, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, we were. It just wasn't funny. None of us are acknowledging it.
No, I thought Spencer froze.
Oh no, he muted and was typing something.
Okay.
No.
That was
Oh.
savage.
All right, I'm gonna go now. Bye.
Bye, Luca.
All right. You guys wake up the next day and are ready for another day of travel. If anyone had any residual, actually, Wander, make me a Constitution save.
Council asks Revan to check on the position of the worm, since we are getting close.
Constitution saving throw is a dirty 20.
Yeah, you were fine, despite not having any like extra protection besides your sleeping bag or anything. You end up fine for the night.
Okay.
I think
When
when Felix gets up, he's going to switch the configuration of his armor to the infiltration mode,
Okay.
just to be a little more mobile, and if there are flying things, he'll have a ranged attack.
Okay. Cool.
So when Council asks Revan about the compass, Revan looks over to Wander and says, "Do you still have my compass?"
Oh, yes. And Wonder pulls it out of his bag and hands it back to Revan.
Um, Thank you. Revan thinks of the worm and checks the compass.
Revan, when you hold up the compass, it does not work.
So when you say it doesn't work, what does he perceive? Like,
The
is it
needle
loose and
inside,
floppy?
it spins freely.
Oh, it spins freely.
Yeah, so
Like when
if
you're
he
in a-
like wherever he turns it, the
Oh.
slightly heavier side, the red side, will kind of point in that direction.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's just loose.
Yeah.
It's like Sea of Thieves when you're in the storm and the compass is just going crazy, right?
Has it? Oh,
s-
never mind.
so Revan, seeing that, concentrates harder, and he thinks of this worm he's heard of.
Okay. Nothing.
And Revan starts going through things in his mind, and he thinks of Ishmael, and he thinks of his ship, and he thinks of Lady Margaret, and he just starts going through things that are familiar in his life and
Mhm.
staring at the compass.
It does not respond to any of the thoughts that Revan has.
It's not working. He kind of shows, like holds it up so you can see the needle. Just
I remember the Magister had to do something to get it to attune to you. I wonder if Wander, having it overnight, messed with your ownership.
That's very intriguing.
Hand it
Per-
back to Wander.
I
Well, I was going to say perhaps it'll work if he holds onto it for a while, but it may work now with Wander.
we could certainly try with Wander. Otherwise, perhaps holding on to it for a day, it'll come back to me. But Wander, hands him the compass. Give it a try. Think of something you know well.
It feels a bit awkward using this, but I'll certainly give it a try. Wander allows himself to think of home.
Thinking of the groves you know so well, you're able to picture them in your mind perfectly, but the compass does not respond.
I hope I've done nothing to damage it irreparably.
I hope in my my doubt and anger didn't permanently sever the connection I had to this compass. Perhaps if it is in my possession again for a day or two, it could return.
Certainly worth a shot. Here you go.
As the only one of the group that does not have this doubt, should I attempt?
No.
You're welcome to. Revan holds it up to Tizzle.
Council?
Oh. If you want to try. I'm fairly certain it'll do nothing.
Yes, me too, but I haven't tried yet. So back
It's
off.
worth a try.
So back off.
You
I should've
try,
been
yeah.
me.
He's got thin knees. They're hard to hit. Yeah, he tries. He thinks of the nest.
Compass does nothing. You're able to picture your rocky home above the clouds. Again, perfectly. But you are not able to get the compass to respond.
I hope this connection can be restored. If not, I am truly sorry for the damage it may do.
We know the general direction we are heading. Hopefully that'll be enough.
I do think that did the Magister cast a spell to dispel magic around it?
I don't know what he did. We also know that from the last message Revan received from his sponsor, that she is weakening greatly. It may be coincidental with him not having it overnight that it no longer works.
Did you say sponsor?
Yes.
Sponsor, patron, same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the word Revan would use, but okay.
You know, his sugar mommy.
Try
I
new
think-
Fatalist Squiddos. Oh, they're refreshing at breakfast. Revan's is full of ads as we're walking, live streaming from the compass.
Session 5. I don't know if this is too table talky. I'll shut up. But the Magister. He took it and did something. I don't have any more details. And
Yeah,
it worked.
he went blah, blah, and he said something like he unattuned from the previous owner.
Yeah, I don't have the details of what he did, but yeah. And he did something, and it worked. Charlie was the previous owner.
Charlie.
Candy
We're on a
Mountain.
bridge, Charlie.
It's a
Weirdos.
little Plaridon.
Magically a Plaridon. Okay.
All right, Council starts walking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Council leads today. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Council, do you know where you're going?
Nope.
All right. Make me a survival.
No, I was kidding. Council's not leading today.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he
All
can.
right,
we do it?
sure.
I was like,
Can
here we
we
go.
soon do a quick bio break? It doesn't have to be this minute, but sometime soon. I really gotta use
Oh,
it.
yeah, we could actually take one right now
Now's
if
a
we
good time.
would like to. Yeah.
Okay.
Quick question: does the sun rise and set in the east and west? Is that a
Yes.
thing we've known our lives? Okay, so yes, he
Yeah.
does know where he's going.
Yeah, you probably know roughly where you're going.
Right. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
See you in a couple minutes.
I'm gonna go get some dinner.
Bye.
What are you doing?
I'm talking to Crystal.
Yes.
Crystal's just off of camera. We're trading secrets. Yeah,
Oh,
there's her hand.
in case I can lip read.
Exactly. So, I was about to start talking just normally, and I was like, Jack is at his desk. Okay.
Apparently, the entire Twitch stream is full of people that can read lips. Not just us.
Yeah.
That's right. Everybody who's watching, every crystal that is watching.
I'm also watching.
Oh, so is actually I don't know if these people are still here or if these people were just here at some point.
There's 3 people on right now.
Oh, it says that there's a lot.
We famous.
Wait a few seconds.
You didn't pay for a bot farm to watch your
No,
stream? Gotta
I didn't.
get those numbers up.
How was
Yeah.
Crystal so clear sounding?
What?
The Yeti.
Is she right? Oh, she's in the room. with
She's
you.
like right here.
Oh, I was like, holy cow! It sounds like she's like on the stream with us. It's like, hi.
Yeah, that's her. I didn't just like break my hand awkwardly.
Oh, that would be. Ugh.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be awkward. It would be terrifying.
Accurate. I think Crystal's the only one who's chatted
Ah.
at any time.
How many people were watching?
I don't know.
No.
Crystal says there's 3, of which one is Jack and the other one's Crystal.
Oh, so there's one unknown person.
Someone.
That Arpene in the desert was fun. That's cool.
That was pretty great. Made me very happy.
Yeah, I was trying to discern like if I could be convinced. Like,
Could you be convinced to turn around?
To I guess not be doubtful.
Oh, I see.
Like, was this like, and you obviously can't answer, but like, is this like a magical kind of thing, or am I just stuck in this mood of doubt?
I was really worried when I first said something that, like, from a player perspective, somebody might think like, oh, maybe Adam's done, or all right, we'll just let Revan go. And it's gonna be like, if nobody tries to stop him,
it was silent for a long time.
It was. I was gonna be like, screw you guys.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out just how to play it.
Oh my gosh, jackpot, guys, we finally did it.
If it wasn't for us being stalked, Tizal would have absolutely been like, okay, bye.
Alright, see you later.
Can we talk about that as players now? About what happened? Now that we've RP'd it?
I mean,
table talk.
You know that they have, due to their roles, they have received a prompt of a kind from me that influences their characters' behaviors and thoughts. If you want to fail, you can have one too.
Good.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Tizal doesn't need doubt creeping in his mind.
I mean, they're unique. Like, it could be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fail.
Did you draw their little thumbnails?
I did draw their little thumbnails.
Cute.
Thank you. I'm assuming they're messed up now. Oh, they're not.
No.
Yeah. Jackpot.
Nice.
I'm a professional.
You can find a way to get paid for it, you will be.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Hey, Yoda.
You could dye your hair and eyebrows aquamarine and then start making videos and post them on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say this: I would watch at least one of those videos.
I watched the first one and then never again.
Well, I'll make a decision after watching that first video if I would continue watching them.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Is that a peach Red Bull?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, I can't find the pomegranate one anywhere out here. We had it for like a month, and then it's disappeared.
I had
Interesting.
Granite?
one can of it ever. I don't ever see it anywhere. It was really good though.
It's delicious.
Was it like a summer or winter flavor?
It's a winter flavor,
Oh, okay.
so I would think it would still be around, but
It was super good. The peach
I
one's
know.
good too.
Yeah, this is easily like second favorite.
I've a big. You ever had Guru?
Mm-mm.
Just another one of the energy drinks, but they don't. Their whole thing is they don't put any like fake crap in it. But the flavor's really tasty. I really enjoy it.
That video about non-alcoholic cocktails was really good.
Oh,
When
I was
it-
gonna watch that one. I forgot.
So when it started, I initially was gonna be like, why is this advertising to me? And two, I was gonna be like, no, I don't want to see ads like this anymore. Like, because it starts off with like shaming the one sober person,
Mhm.
and then the bartender cuts in and is like, hey, like, people don't drink for any number of reasons. I'm like, oh, okay. This took a turn.
Is it worth revisiting and watching that video?
I
Mhm.
think it's a clever ad.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. I meant to, and I
It's funny.
got busy at work.
It is, and there's a little bit of a movement. There's a few different Twitter spheres that I follow, and one of them is the PC Twitter sphere. And one of their things that they talk about right now is if someone says they don't want to drink, don't ask them. There's lots of different reasons to not drink, and it's probably not your business. So,
If they want to share, they can share.
mhm.
There's so I saw a thing yesterday posted by somebody at some point in time. I don't know if it was recently or if it was earlier in the year, whatever. I didn't look at the date, but it was like, spine injury awareness day or something like that. And the person was like, if you see somebody who's in a wheelchair, like, go talk to them. Because this person was in a wheelchair, and so they're like we're not like strangers, we're not aliens. Like we're people too. We have a story to tell you. Like you can talk to us. And so it's hard to balance those two conflicting urges of like, never bring it up. People don't want to talk about themselves, and I am undyingly curious about this. I want to know, and people should feel free to share. It's hard to balance.
One
And
of the
sometimes it's just whether or not it's an extrovert or introvert posting the tweet.
For sure. Yeah.
Yep. It's a good call out. One of the dudes in the like 12 of us in the arcade mod Discord that I'm in is a navel down paraplegic. And I've gotten some, he shares some really interesting stuff. He's like mid 40s. He's a programmer, developer. And his was from an accident as an adult. I forget how long ago, but yeah, so he was not born that way. But he talks about like his biggest thing that like straight up pisses him off is people will come up and touch his chair, like trying to be helpful. And he's like, no, like he'll be like, please let go right now, like because it's so much a part of him.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing coming up and just grabbing my chair and pushing me? Like he's like, if I truly need help, I will look around and ask someone if they can help me out. He's like, it doesn't really ever happen, but I don't ever need someone to come up and grab my chair.
I've heard similar things from people who have wheelchairs. They're like, if you wouldn't walk up to me and touch my butt without asking, kind just apply the same thing to my chair.
Is this about the
So
wheelchair
if I
spike?
would, then I can.
Yeah.
Is this the spikes handlebars thing I saw the other day?
Oh, I saw that too.
Yeah, someone put
No.
spikes on the handlebars of their wheelchair to stop people from grabbing
People
it.
were grabbing it.
It's like plastic spike
Yeah, it's
thing.
3D
Yeah.
printed, but still.
Just
Nope.
to dissuade people from
Metal,
grabbing the
rusty
handlebars.
nails.
It's like they just
Grate
wrap
some
barbed
razor
wire
blades.
around it.
Use syringes.
Yep.
That'll
Use
that'll
syringe.
teach them.
Congratulations, you now have AIDS. Thanks for touching my wheelchair.
You took that a step further.
What, you don't keep AIDS in a jar to apply to things?
Now I have the song from Team America World Police going through my head.
On that note, let's get back. So, you were about to start traveling. I'm pretty sure Council was leading you guys.
No,
No.
He wanted to.
I do, but no.
You can. All right. Tis all
I
survival
do.
check.
Council won't.
Is all
Survival.
you will?
Yeah.
Two,
Okay.
we'll both roll.
Survival. Is that what I'm rolling?
Yeah.
Is it actually, or am I making that up?
That's what I
No,
rolled.
yeah, it's a survival check.
Hey, how does inspiration work?
So you can use it as a reaction if you want to.
Is it advantage?
Yeah, it just gives you an advantage. Why would you roll?
It's not great, but it is still above a 10.
I mean,
So
it's
I
up
might
to you.
just stick with it. The rolls are gonna dry up, and we're gonna be in combat, so I'm gonna stick with it. 11.
An 11?
I didn't do
Okay.
any better the day before.
Why is everyone so confident we're about to be in combat?
You met us?
It's not
Is
it.
all as you continue to lead the party. First off, how are you gauging your directions?
So still heading due west because I understand
You
that we
know
need
which
to be
way
going.
due west is?
I would
suggest we
think so.
consult the expert in navigation.
Yeah, we are. No?
Am I the navigational expert?
Isn't that the one
Is
who?
there-
If you don't know who you
There's
are,
one.
you likely aren't the one.
Oh, phew.
Referring to Captain Revan here.
I have a bit of experience navigating my way around.
We can discuss.
He explains the sun setting and rising in east and west, and like gives Tizzle a very very brief lesson on that.
Tizzle's like, yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Duh, bro.
I would say with Captain Revan explaining things, make your survival check again, but so just make it like with advantage basically,
Okay.
because he's helping.
It's a 17.
17. Okay.
Mhm.
You have what was going to be another rainy day. Instead, have a very mild day, somewhat of a calm breeze, because of Revan's help with the navigation. You guys know that it is in the latter half of the year, so the sun is actually more on the southern horizon than it is to the north. So you're able to correct for that a little bit and not like, traveling actually what you thought was due west actually ends up being like northwest or something. And you're able to travel in the direction that you intended to. That being said, it is a very nonchalant day. You probably stop to eat at some point in the day, or just eat your good berries along the way, I guess. Yeah, mild breeze from the west.
Council is going to look for any small rocks as we're traveling, just to kind of fill up a pocket. He doesn't have any pockets. His bag, a small like handful of stones.
Okay. Yeah,
He just-
as you're traveling along, let's say You're able to find 4 kind of like fist-sized rocks. Is that like size you're thinking of, or smaller?
Like
Oh, smaller even.
D20.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you're able to find even more than, we'll say 8.
Okay, thank you.
Does Revan notice, Revan being at the back again like he mostly has been, does he notice Consul doing this? Yeah.
I'm not being sneaky about it.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
After you've picked up a couple, Revan inquires, something you're looking for there, Consul?
I'm going to create an arrow the direction we're facing when we set up camp. Just in case.
Seems a good idea.
Friggin' council is just smart.
After hearing that, going forward, at least for today, Revan watches for a couple more of the same size rocks and grabs them if he can.
Cool. Yeah, Council gladly. Yep. He doesn't have any pockets since he's naked, so he's just kind of putting them in like his bag.
Wait, you're still naked?
My
Sounds like-
armor and clothes are gone.
He has like a cloak, basically.
Well, right. I was gonna say, if we have like sleeping things, right? Couldn't you have made?
Don't.
Like
This is a personal choice of the character. Don't shame him.
No,
I
he doesn't
hand
have
him a
any-
garbage bag
Apples and
and cut a
noodles
hole in the top.
Yeah, he just has his cloak, so if the wind blows, I mean, council bits.
Hospital gown style.
Suddenly Marilyn Monroeing,
No.
trying to keep his cloak down.
That's fantastic.
How did the bits fare in the alchemite attack? Sorry.
Oh, he's
No
super
answer.
endowed, by the way. Like it's dragging in the sand, so like three positives going. I'm kidding.
That's after the alchemite damage. All right.
My good Christian Minecraft server. You tainted it.
Sorry, everyone. I'll go back to being muted.
Tizal, as we're going, he's obviously
Mhm.
keeping an eye out of where we're going, but he's also trying to see now that the compass is kind of dried up on us. He
Mhm.
wants to start looking for tracks more closely, maybe trying to discern where Sledge and whatchamacallit may have gone, see if we can like see anything along the way.
Yeah. Go ahead and just make me a perception check as you're walking along.
Ooh. Dirty 20? Yeah, dirty 20.
20. You, while you're walking along on this pretty easygoing day, you feel it's safe enough to let your eyes wander to looking more for detailed things than just scanning the horizon constantly. And you don't pick up on any tracks at all. In this part of the desert, you don't know if it's from the rain from the day before or something else. But there's just nothing for you to see.
Sure.
It looks like fresh sand.
Sure. Tizal would call out that he's doing it and just tell others, like, because of the compass, it may make sense for others to keep an eye out for tracks as well.
Okay.
Wander is looking around furtively.
Anything else everybody wants to do today, or otherwise we can just go straight to nighttime. Okay. Who would like to be on watch?
Revan will
Nice.
definitely take one since he slept last night.
I can
As
take a
soon as
watch.
we decide to set up camp, Council just stops walking and sets up his little stone arrows, and then sets up camp.
Revan hands him the rocks he was collecting too. Hands him over to Consul.
Okay.
So maybe this is Luca, the player, being dumb, as well as Tizal. What are these rocks for? I think I missed it.
We don't have a compass. And we're fairly certain now we're going in an okay direction. So when we wake up the next day, we'll have an arrow pointing in the direction we need to continue going.
Oh, okay.
Tizal kept saying, "Just follow the sun all day long," and we realized we were going in circles. So we're trying to.
Wait, you
overcome
guys wouldn't fly up there with me, so.
Room. Stupid flightless animals.
Wander will take a watch.
Okay. Wander will be first.
Revan will take a watch as well.
Revan
I
will
can take
one.
third.
Okay.
I'll set up alarm.
Okay. Then Wander, go ahead. Give me our first watch for the night.
Okay. 19.
19.
Mhm.
You notice as the sun is going down on the southern horizon, when you are looking to the north, almost to the northwest, you're able to see something on the horizon. You're not exactly sure what it is, but what you're used to is a fairly flat, if not slightly curved, sand dune horizon. You're able to pick up on these almost these little like jagged points every once in a while. But they don't look like they're poking up like right in front of you on the horizon, like distant. But you're not sure where.
When I hand up watch to Revan, I'll share that with him so he can. If he wants something to stare at, he can.
Yeah. Once the sun goes down, you're no longer able to see them. It's just
Oh,
in
I
those
see.
like last couple of like minutes to a half hour where you have some little bit of sunset. Other than that,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Then Revan, go ahead and make me a perception check. Oh, Wander, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Dirty 20 again.
You're perfectly fine.
Okay.
You feel great.
8.
8. You have a very boring night. You can still feel that westerly breeze coming at you. Doesn't feel necessarily as cold as previous nights. It's still chilly, but you're not immediately like, I need to be inside my sleeping bag so I can warm up so I don't die of hypothermia in the middle of the night, kind of cold.
Can I try one thing here?
Always.
Through my watch. So Revan still staying on watch. Finds like a decent spot, although I assume it's mostly flat. Excuse me. And sits down, and though he hasn't had much luck with this yet, he attempts to reach out to the Fathomless, with just a few kind of general questions of like, are we going the right way? Am I doing the right thing? Just all the kind of doubts that were going through his mind. He's just asking those big general questions like, is this the right path?
Mm-hmm. Okay. While you are reaching out, you become aware of just how distant you feel from the Fathomless, which is strange because before, when you were kind of constantly on the ocean or near the ocean, it was never even a sense of you are next to something or you are near something. But at this point, trying to focus on the Fathomless, you can feel it physically that it's not there. It's distant, and you're not able to make a connection. You still ponder the thoughts and you ask the questions, just kind of to the void, but you don't get anything back.
And do his weapons still have the plain look to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
They have not changed back.
All right. That was it.
Last is Felix.
So perception, we've got a 9.
9. You notice most of your watch is very boring. Not a whole lot to take note of. You notice the same thing that Revan does, that it's not nearly as cold as it has been, but it's still chilly. And when the sun begins to rise over the eastern horizon, you can see the same things that Wander was able to see. To the northwest, you can see these kind of just like spikes that are sticking up. They don't seem to have like any regular cadence to them. They're very like, there will be one, and then you like scan like 20 yards, and then there'll be another like 2 or 3, and then you'll scan another 20 yards. Just kind of like poking up over the northwestern horizon. And by the time the sun is at its it's fully in the sky, just the heat coming off of the sand is enough to make it so that they're not directly visible anymore.
Sure. And for a con saving throw, got 19.
19, you're fine. Okay. All right. Anything before you take off for the day? Otherwise, it's day 13 of travel.
All right.
Who'd like to lead?
Wander would be happy to.
Okay.
I am going to use that inspiration.
Okay. Because also remember, that you were rolling at disadvantage because of you have 2 failures previously.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you could use it out to cancel and just be a straight roll. Or you could roll at disadvantage and take the lower.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do... Well, I rolled 1 dice already, and I was thinking of advantage. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's... With that, it is 8.
8? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As you continue, and I'm assuming you're continuing on the path that has been laid out to this point, you notice throughout the early parts of the morning of your journey that the wind is beginning to pick up. And within a matter of minutes, the sand becomes blinding to the point where you're not really able to see the horizon anymore. You're not able to tell which way you're going. And you guys, again, have a choice of whether or not you would like to continuing on in faith, or if you would like to hunker down, as this storm that you have wandered into doesn't seem to be calming down anytime soon.
Council votes to wait.
How loud is this sandstorm?
Incredibly. Even to speak with one another, like face to face, you have to speak in raised voices.
Yeah.
You can see one another for the time being, but only because you have stopped early on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wander screams out, I have no idea where I'm going. We have to stop and wait this out.
Yes. Stop.
We have no means of navigation. No use going in circles and losing time.
You spend your day effectively hunkered down throughout this sandstorm, and it does get much, much worse than how it began, to the point where even sitting next to one another, you're not able to see. You can see just kind of like darkened outlines of one another. The sun is even darkened just by the sheer amount of sand that's being blown around you. I imagine that you guys put up some kind of like try to construct a tent or like a covering out of with your sleeping bag, something.
Yeah, Consul sits with his back to the sandstorm and holds up his cloak and just kind of lets it blow over him.
Okay. Do you guys just want to each cover yourselves, or do you want to like work together to try and construct something bigger?
If it feels bad enough that it's starting to like sandblast our skin or
Right.
something, or people are
Mhm.
suffocating, then yeah, Council's gonna try and fabricate something,
Okay.
like a wall.
Okay.
But if it's not
Uh,
that bad, then
yeah, Felix is gonna offer his pelts to Council.
Okay.
Because Felix's visor protects his face pretty well.
sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're noticing, Felix, that like around your feet and in like the lower parts of your suit, you can feel sand. Like sand has been blown in through the vents of your suit. Your face is still cleared, but it is finding the only cracks that exist. Everyone else, it is blinding at times. It does not get to the point where, yeah, it is causing any physical harm to you. It's never quite suffocating. And this lasts for 5, 6, 7 hours. By the time it is done, you are all exhausted, sheerly from just having sat through what you sat through. You all take 1 point of exhaustion. And by the time it has settled down, the geographical landscape around you has shifted immensely. There are now dunes where there were not dunes before. There is now flat where there was not flat before. Everything has changed, even though you have stayed in one spot, and you are at least partially buried in sand. Because you have hunkered down, you're obviously able to like move enough throughout it to keep yourself from getting like buried alive. But you are definitely surrounded by a large amount of sand. If you were looking for cover, Council, this is it.
Found some.
Those
Found
birds aren't
you.
going to find you now.
So it's nighttime now.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's nothing you guys would like to do for the day,
After the storm dies down, as we're winding down for the evening, Wander is clearly not okay. He's very despondent, and he starts rocking back and forth, and he goes, "It's my fault. It's my fault. It's Tersink. He curses me again. It's my fault.
Are you
It's
all
my."
right, Wonder?
I succumb to the desperation.
What do you mean?
I missed home. I missed home so badly. I could feel the grove. I could feel it. It's been so long.
You're showing signs of guilt.
I tried to attune to the compass during the night. It was me. I broke the compass.
Revan, does the compass work?
Revan takes the compass out and thinks of the sandworm.
nothing.
Lost in
Revan-
the desert. Lost in the desert.
Revan thinks of his ship.
You're able to picture the Leviathan perfectly. Every brass knob, every cannon, every rope, every sail, every little like scratch and dent in the wood on the planks. Compass does not respond.
What are you picturing with the compass?
Well, first I thought of the sandworm. But then I thought of something I know much better. I thought of me ship.
Think of Felix.
Have you thought about our goal? And your goal in serving the fathomless?
Not in the last couple of days, perhaps.
Why don't you try that?
So I do. I go back to thinking of the goal that we've been thinking of and following west of
Mhm.
any difference with the yeah.
Compass does not respond.
I share that.
The compass to you, it feels just like a normal item. Like from what you can tell, there is no magic to it at this point. It is purely a broken compass.
I share those sentiments with the group and say, I fear that the functionality or the connection of this compass with myself is beyond the abilities of this group.
Wonder.
I don't think, Wander, that you were the cause.
It's not true. I was trying. I kept it myself, and during my watch, I spent the time trying to connect with it with every ounce of magic that I possess. I tried to get it to point towards the groves. I know it was me who destroyed the compass. I know it was me. Wander is increasingly agitated and starts pacing back and forth.
Do you feel any different?
Do I feel any different?
Yes. If you thought about something you are very familiar with now, how do you feel?
Wander attempts to calm himself and thinks about the grove that he grew up in.
You feel no mystical connection to the grove. You know that the grove is north. But this entire time you've been traveling, you've known that it's north. Your feelings don't change.
No, I'm thinking about it the same as I was yesterday, and I can't vouch for that being perfectly normal.
Can you think of. Hmm, never mind. I was curious, perhaps you accidentally absorbed its power in some way.
I think the sooner we get out of this desert, the better.
Agreed.
It seems to have an effect on our psychology.
We will do this the old-fashioned way. We do not need a magic compass. We know the direction in which we need to go. Once we get to the mountain, we will figure out the path forward.
If I
Further,
wa-
that
i-
I'm sure.
if I wasn't confident that we'd be able to still find our way without this compass, I would have never agreed to this trip.
I still would have. This is a great adventure. But yes, I am confident in our abilities.
Navigation certainly isn't a problem. where the challenge may arise is in finding the specific goal that we seek.
I think I have a feeling it might be a little more clear once we get there.
I hope your optimism rings true.
Positing in the daylight sun is not going to help us regardless.
Let's continue.
Aye. Let's keep moving.
Well, it is nighttime.
It is nighttime. That's right.
So, who would like
forgot.
to take a watch?
Oh.
No, we're gonna keep working through the exhaustion. I can take a watch.
Yeah, I can watch.
So we will go Tizal, and then Felix. Who'll be third?
I'll do one.
Oh,
I was gonna see if somebody else was gonna say something.
Give him all the blankies.
Revan would love to sleep off his exhaustion.
No reading now.
All right.
You know me, just speed reading the journal.
Revan goes to bed.
I do know you.
Yeah. All right, Tizal, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Give me that dirty one.
16.
Ah. You spend the better part of your watch just reorienting yourself, trying to figure out again, like which way is north, which way is south, west, east, due to the shifted landscape. You feel by the end of it you're pretty well oriented, but there's nothing to see in the nighttime. You don't have any encounters. There's no wildlife that you can see, and the wind has even died down to a point where it is just you could hear a pin drop in the desert, if that's a thing.
Do I still see the mountains?
From where you are right now, no.
Okay. But I've reoriented myself to understand the direction in which we should be going, or no?
Make me a survival check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Mhm.
You have a pretty good idea which way is which. Yeah.
Okay.
That being said, do you indicate that in any way, or?
Given that the everything is calm, I'm assuming we've lost all the stones in the dust storm that happened.
Yeah. So if Council was like carrying them on his person when
Yeah,
you guys sat down, you probably didn't.
Yeah, he would set them up before going to bed every night.
Right. But with the sandstorm, is Council still sure he knows which way he was walking before the sandstorm? Is the question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because we waited out the sandstorm and then went to set up camp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's tricky.
If we lost the rocks, Tizal would probably use one of his talons to like draw an arrow into the sand, especially with a still night with no wind. If we have the rocks, he would use the rocks and follow Council's kind of direction.
Sure. So we could say whether or not Council still has the rocks, you draw your arrow in the sand with your talon.
Okay.
Okay.
I would wake the next person and tell them everything I saw.
Felix.
So for a perception, I got 19.
19. You notice same things really as what Tizal sees. There is no wind at all. It is just deathly silent. There's no creatures. The sand is still. It is quiet. It is almost eerie. with, again, kind of the now alien landscape and the lack of life around you. Other than that, nothing to note. Anything you'd like to do?
Are we still doing Constitution saves?
Yes.
So I got a 23.
Yeah, you're fine.
I like to think you, I like to think you rolled that first and then asked.
I did roll it, and
Did I just roll that 23 for nothing?
basically.
All right. Council, then. It's your
Whee!
turn.
Perception. 14 plus 5, 19.
19. You notice the same things as the others.
Still and quiet.
Eerily still, eerily quiet, unfamiliar landscape. You can, make me your Constitution saving throw.
15 plus 7. 22.
Despite your exposed flesh, you make sure to wrap yourself tightly in your cloak with the furs and everything, and you're able to keep enough warmth for the night.
Woo.
All right. Next day.
Day 14.
Day 14.
I got it. Tis all. Unless
Alright.
anyone else wants to do it. Council? Gonna use my inspiration on that one for sure. Ooh! It was advantage, right? That's what inspiration does?
Yes.
24.
24. Nice. You, now that you have reoriented yourself the night before, you've left yourself the clue with your talon in the sand, you know which way to be heading. When you start your day off, immediately you crest over this sand dune that's kind of like built up next to you. And on the other side of it, you actually see more exposed rock. And you guys are able to make a good amount of distance on the day.
Nice.
By the time it is time for you to set up camp for the evening, all of you are able to see, not even just with the tricks of the light or anything, but you can see the start of these kind of jagged mountain tops to the northwest.
Nice.
You're not able to see just how far away they are, but you know that they are there.
Does
And
seeing
you're getting
something
closer.
does seeing something other than desert, a landmark in our direction, kind of instill any sense of relief or hope?
Oh, desperately, yes.
Okay.
You feel much better about how things are going now. At least that there's an end to this desert.
Cool.
The journey itself may still prove to be perilous, but you think that you can make it through the desert.
I'm picturing Council getting inspired Darkest Dungeon style.
Yep. All right.
Did we shed our exhaustion from the previous night?
Yes. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. So when you get a full night's sleep, you get rid of the exhaustion.
Okay.
So after your night, you're feeling fine. And yeah, you're able to essentially shave a day off of your travels, which is good because you lost a day from the sandstorm, or you gained a day from the sandstorm, and now you've made up for it. So, well done. Good rolling. 'Tis all.
The
Who would like to do
inspiration.
watch?
Tis all take one.
I'll say that evening around the campfire, Wander does start a bit of a conversation with Council and Felix. I was thinking about your thought of an experiment be like to touch raw alchemite to you to see what force you have going on. I have to admit, I'm a bit curious about the same thing myself. If we ever have some uncolored alchemite, I, I still think about what the Dorn King said about the life force in me. I know that obviously it's become clear that there are entities besides myself that wouldn't mind stuffing my life out and channeling it into alchemite and doing something with it, but I would also be curious. I would be curious about the experiment if it would even be safe, if the alchemite would pull the life energy out of the entity, or if the life energy needs to be pushed out of the entity and into the alchemite.
I don't know. That's a good question.
My theory is that the life energy already needs to be in transit. And the alchemite is simply a receptacle for that homeless energy.
Simply catches the water that's flowing downhill.
Precisely. Maybe a little more magnetic than that. But that's about the idea.
Still, I would be curious to see what happens to a piece exposed to you for an extended period of time.
The experiment is terribly intriguing, but also not without risk. If it
I mean,
does in fact have the power to pull the life energy out, that isn't something I would be terribly interested in experiencing.
You've held raw alchemite before, and nothing happened immediately.
I have
You
a
know,
piece right now, and I'm keeping it close to my body in my armor, in fear that it does catch some life energy and ruin my experiment.
Felix suddenly dies.
just thinking about it, like, oh no.
Hmm.
But I'm curious what we'll find in these mountains that glow so ominously.
Anything else people would like to chat about, or should we get to watches?
So
You
I
got-
says to Margaret, no, I'm just kidding.
No. So Tizzle's got the first watch, second, third.
I'll take a watch.
I could take third.
We're just gonna ignore that Revan raised his hand.
Yep.
Yep, I'm went to unmute and couldn't. I wasn't finding the button.
All right, we will go Tizzle, Wander, Felix then. Screw you, Revan. Sorry.
And I'm just setting up alarm for all these rests. We keep
Okay.
saying it.
I'm gonna draw an arrow in the sand, or do I need to roll for that?
Nah. You know, no, you know which way you were traveling when you stopped, so
Okay.
you can make it there.
Yeah, I would set that up for the night.
Okay. And Council does still have his rocks, so
I cover the rocks. I cover the arrow with rocks, just so wind.
Say someone rolled a 1.
There it is.
Say that someone was me just now. What happens?
Are you doing the torch shield stool?
course not.
I think
fall on the
in the
arrow.
words of Alex, the friggin' bird fell asleep.
He's so exhausted from doing so good at leading the party all day.
He really did.
Man, carrying these guys on my back is so draining.
And I have hollow bones.
Wander and Felix, you are never woken for your watches.
Well,
Who's the
Well-
first person to wake up in the morning?
Everybody want to make me a Constitution check?
that's the thing to get a natural 20 on.
Me too.
Oh, damn it! Useless. 27. Constance's like,
14.
oh, I smell incompetence.
Oh no, he's turning again.
So with the natural 20, what do you have, Wonder?
24.
24. Okay, so it's Council. You wake up first. Well, actually, I didn't hear. Did Felix and Revan? Did you roll?
Yeah, I got. Is this a
Can't be
check?
nat 20.
You got a what?
I can't beat a nat 20.
I got a 9. I got a 9 on a check.
Okay, yeah.
It's a
For just
save. I
like
got a 12.
check. So yeah, Council, you are the first one to wake up, and you see everyone asleep.
I immediately look around the camp to make sure everyone's not dead and there's nothing's eating any people. No, our stuff is here. Adult stuff.
Okay, make me a perception check.
Okay. 15.
15. As far as you can see, everybody's stuff is still there. Nothing absconded with your belongings.
Is
in the
everyone
middle of the night.
alive?
Looks like it. Everyone appears to be breathing.
Okay. Council.
Or in the case of Wander, photosynthesizing now?
Council
Vigorously.
contemplates Tizzle's
Vigorously
usefulness.
photosynthesizing. Sorry, what?
Council contemplates Tizzle's usefulness up until this point and thumbs his crossbow. But then he just wakes everyone up.
Okay. Council wakes everybody up.
Wordlessly, he just kind of nudges them.
Tizal, you don't remember handing off watch last night?
Sure he did.
Yeah.
The idea of falling asleep is beyond him.
It was probably Wander who screwed up. He's the one who's been acting strange.
Right. Not me. I don't have any self-doubt, so I couldn't have screwed up.
The,
Blame it on the corn.
there was like a handkerchief blowing in the air that accidentally got on his face and covered his eyes. He's just been like that.
It's like a cat with a piece of cheese on his face.
Spencer, do you have is that your coherent solutions notebook?
Oh, it is, yeah. This one?
Nice.
That's a nice notebook.
Yeah, I
That's,
freaking
I
love
have
this
mine
thing.
right back there. It's what I use to write all my work notes and
My work notes are in a different. I think it's actually one of the notebooks I got from that Zendesk conference I went to in Chicago.
I still have the mug.
Yeah, my mug is somewhere. I don't know
And the
where.
blanket. That blanket is
blanket
so
is
Oh, the
good.
blanket's
great.
fantastic.
Still have
My
the
mother
blanket.
loves it. She steals it whenever she comes over.
It's a great blanket.
But yeah, this is the Coherent notebook. Great stuff. Go Coherent.
Yeah.
Hey.
They're sponsoring the stream now.
Woo.
We're all contractors for the stream.
Very cool.
Who would like to lead for day 15? Or is there anybody who would like to do something in the morning?
Does it seem strange when council is waking us up? Wait, who? What was the order for watches? It was Tizal.
Tizal, Wander, Felix.
So yeah, I kind of take note and council. Why are you the one to wake us up?
Because I woke up first.
I should have been woken up by Wander.
And Wander, were you awoken by Tizal?
I was not, I'm afraid.
It seems it may be in the best interest of this group to no longer allow Tizal to take watch at night. Our very lives may depend upon it.
Says the one who lost his powers.
We could
Things
double
happen.
up on watches.
Hey.
I have been setting up a magical perimeter around our camp. We're at least not completely defenseless.
It's fine. Things happen. We're alive. Squabbling about it does no one any good. Let's
As we approach the mountains, we don't know what we're going to meet there as far as the local fauna go.
And we'd want to ensure we're all awake during our watches, aye? Is that what you're getting at, Felix?
Just alert in general.
Let's chalk it up to bad luck and not a lack of skill. I can assure you that is not the problem. I was tired from leading us so well yesterday and gaining a day back to our trip.
We should press on. The mountains are near.
Agreed.
All right.
I can certainly attempt to lead again.
I did so well yesterday that I feel up to going again without any detriment.
Wise.
You certainly got a good night's rest.
30-20.
Dirty 20. All right. You, Tizzle, continue your winning streak.
He dabs at in Revan's direction, even though he falls.
You are able to continue navigating your way through the easier parts of the desert. And you take another day of travel off.
Wow. Ooh.
By the end of this day, you have had the mountains to the northwest of you the entire time that you have been walking. And now you can see that the area that you're approaching is almost somewhat of like an elbow in the mountains, because the mountains are to the north and the west of you, and they are also directly to the west of you. And they are absolutely looming. From what you can see of them, these are incredibly tall, incredibly jagged mountains. They are nothing compared, or well, they're nothing like the mountains that you saw on the other side of this desert, which were much more natural in appearance, at least like flowing in some way. These are, it's broken glass up and down. It even without a trained eye in such things, you can tell these mountains are not natural. This isn't a normal thing. But you are able to have a good walk again along the rocks with a gentle breeze kind of refreshing you on the way.
I'm not familiar with what on earth could create mountains like this.
We saw remnants of some sort of geological explosion as we traveled, and there's a warm glow that Felix hypothesizes is from molten earth. Perhaps some sort of eruption, similar to glass shattering or breaking in jagged pieces? I'm just guessing.
Spencer, does any of this remind us of like that formation that we saw with the red alchemite where we picked some of it up? Is there any similarities between what we're seeing on the mountainside here and maybe any remnants of that alchemite like explosion thing we ran into previously?
You could make me a nature check. It'd be a pretty high DC though. I think to draw a conclusion between the two, or like any similarities between the two.
Before she snagged the die out of my hand, I rolled a 19 plus 1. So dirty 20. Yeah.
What did she roll?
Right.
Rosa,
7.
roll it.
She rolled a 7.
You're not sure if the formations in front of you would directly result in the debris that was behind you.
Okay.
Does Revan have any knowledge of Like these type of mountains, or what from a player? What I'm assuming is maybe a volcano or something. Like from his travels, does he know? No. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no. I would I would let Felix make a nature check, but that's probably it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I think he's curious about the nature of these mountains as well.
That 20.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Um, and I'm gonna do Flash of Genius to make this a 27.
27. Snap. What you can tell about these mountains, uh, beyond the fact that they are unnaturally formed, it appears almost as if this was not just like normal like plate tectonics like pushing up against each other. This was something of incredible violence, um, just massive force. There is no concept of like atomic bombs or anything in this world, but like well beyond that, incomprehensible amounts of energy to have created this formation that you're seeing in front of you. Is there anything else you would like to try and glean, or with a 27, I'll pretty much tell you whatever you want to know.
Yeah. Do
Besides
I
how
think
they
that
formed.
this, however this formed, could this have maybe been an event that changed the world?
Absolutely. If whatever caused this formation would have had an absolutely devastating effect on certainly the landscape around it, if not the entirety of the world.
I'll relay that. Like this isn't a natural or even an ordinary event. And when this happened, it caused a cataclysm across this whole area, its whole land, quite possibly the world.
Yeah, this is like definitely a like Deathwing emerging level thing for those who played WoW.
Or maybe Bahamut cast Mega Flare.
Sure, yeah, for those who played Final Fantasy. The other three play more MMOs, so you get our references. Sorry.
Gotta know your world-ending events. Uh, I'm very curious what secrets these mountains have to tell about this event.
I have only guesses as to what created this and the outcome. The question foremost in my mind is this related to everything we know about the world's cycles and noon and life being stolen by the gods and similar?
If it's not related, it is of a similar magnitude.
Agreed. From what you describe, it is.
Who knows how long ago this happened, and it seems these mountains are part of a giant wound left on the land.
If the shard we passed was littered with pieces of red alchemite, and the mountain range we are approaching has a reddish glow, if we cross those mountains and see a veritable ocean of red alchemite, we're going to have to be very careful.
Toss a fireball down there.
Setting one off could
Chain reaction.
just.
Ooh.
That's how cluster bombs are formed.
Felix is inventing warfare. Like new kinds.
Interesting.
Okay.
No, we should
Anything
press on.
Right.
It's
Motivation.
time for a watch.
Okay.
We should
Mm.
press on into sleep and then press on.
Press on into slumber.
So
I'm
who
gonna-
besides Izal wants to do a watch tonight?
I'm gonna take the night off.
Well done, Diesel. I'll do first watch.
I can
Okay,
do
cancel.
second watch.
Council Wander.
I can do a watch.
Felix. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Felix is on his 6th night in a row.
No. Last
Oh.
night I had off.
Yeah.
That's true. It doesn't say like Wander. Wander's. Actually, Wander's only at 2. Never mind. Okay. Council, why don't you give me first watch?
Aha! Well, that's a 19. Plus 5, 24.
24.
Yeah.
Wander, with your lack of dark vision, what you can tell
Wait, what?
in the evening. What?
You said Wonder?
Oh, sorry, I meant council. Council, with your lack of dark vision.
Like, Wonder, you stab council. What?
Wander, with your lack of dark vision, you steal council's eyes and you gain dark vision. You pull the flame from his head and put it in your own. Without your turn back around, you can see that the glow on the horizon, which you previously hadn't really been able to see as well because you didn't have the proper vision to see it.
Mhm.
You're now close enough that you can even see it. It is almost strictly to your west. There is a point on the horizon which you can see the jagged shapes throughout the entirety of the night, kind of backlit by this glow. There is a point where you can no longer see it because the glow just stops, and it is pitch black to the west and northwest.
Okay. So it's dark range, glow, dark range, right?
No. So looking directly west and as far southwest as you can see, it is glow.
Okay. But to my
But
right.
as you look more to the north,
Right.
it stops and turns to darkness. And looking back to the east, of course, is also darkness.
Okay.
Now, what did you roll again? I'm sorry.
19 plus
19,
5,
okay.
24.
Okay. Yeah. So that is what you notice. Other than that, there is nothing to note in the night.
Okay. I wake up Wonder.
Wonder.
Ooh.
Oh no.
That would be a natural one.
It's like Felix is getting another night
Felix
off.
gets another night off. Council, you wake up, Wander. Wander, you're awake. You notice the same things that Council points out. And you are quickly lulled to sleep simply by the proximity to the mountains that you can feel. That reverberation of earth and of life just quickly puts you at ease and at peace.
Oh, it's like a
And
car ride and he's
also-
got a full tummy.
Exactly like that. And Wonder, you fall asleep. I would like everyone to roll me a d20.
Oh. Someday I'm gonna wake up with a knife in my throat, just like you did in my campaign.
I would never.
I hope a nat 20 is good in this circumstance, because that's
That
what I
20
roll.
is good.
I rolled a 10.
I hope a
Luke?
7 is good.
7?
15.
7s and nat 20s are the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
What did you all, Felix?
15.
So, Felix,
Craps rules, right? We're going for 7s and 11s?
Mm-hmm.
what did you get, Barnabas?
7.
And Tizol?
7.
Everybody dies,
Nobody.
except for Revan.
I
Except
should be
for
taking
Revan.
first watch because I still have inspiration.
There you go. Some of you have not done so hot. Others of you have done well. And some of you, upon waking, have greater thoughts of doubt and of concern and of feeling out of place. Others don't. That being said, would anyone like to have any conversations in the morning? Or would you just like to begin your travels? Maybe ruminate on your thoughts throughout the day? There are no wrong answers here.
Evan wakes up ready to go and encourages the group to immediately head out.
Council does a face check. Kind of habit every morning, I guess. Might be a little metagamey, but just getting a general vibe feel from everyone. Morale
Okay.
check.
Oh, other people's faces.
Yes.
Yeah, not checking his own
Thought
face,
you were
even though that is
checking
also
your own
valid.
mangled face.
No, he's trying to distract himself from his own sufferings.
Fair. Okay.
In said face check, Wander's face looks scowly.
Mm.
You look at
I think that a
Felix and
little more pep in its step.
only see yourself in the
Council-
reflection of
Council
his
frowns.
visor.
Nice.
Although I have guided the group well the past 2 days, I am afraid I do not wish to continue. I don't know if I am feeling what was felt previously, but I do not belong here. The nest is where I should be, not this vast, empty hellscape. There is nothing for me here, and my story I do not believe should be told here.
There's nothing here for anyone. None of us should be here.
I should probably just head to the nearest mountains, which are over there, actually.
They're within our reach. It's just a bit further. We've come so far. Let us
We're never
press
going
on.
to
I'm
make
happy
it.
to. I'm happy to lead for once. I've not done so. You've not lived till you followed in the footsteps of the infamous Captain Revan.
Try your best. We'll be stuck in this cursed desert forever.
I
But
don't want to
The
die.
mountains are right there. We're far from stuck, my friend.
They've been right there for days.
Weeks even. Did you not experience the sandstorm a few days ago? Do you want to drown in the sand? That is not something that I wish to pursue any longer. I want to get out of here. And going back toward magical mountains that may have been created because of a cataclysm, that sounds
So,
bad to me.
and so the story ended with the hero backing out.
That require a constitution save?
Flew back
You
across
just
the
take
desert.
like 4d10 psychic damage.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. Yeah, you're dead.
I
Tizol, I am fairly confident in saying that we are walking where no one else has for potentially hundreds of years. If we continue on this journey.
Don't mention Jurgen or Sledge. They don't count.
Oh, this doesn't check out. He's lying.
We may be the first people to witness something and return with said information that may change everything. This could be the very origin of our creation that we are walking toward. And for you, Wanda, the same thing. You want to know where you come from, the energy that fuels you and your people. It could be right there.
You are
It may be
so
days away.
connected to this land, are you not? And don't you want to witness this scar upon it to understand it?
You make an excellent point now that I think of it, that that's a tremendous well of power. Enough power, I would assume, to cleanse the land of all the filth, all the beings doing horrible things to it in every corner. Perhaps we can awaken the cleansing power of solution,
Well, we're
the
getting a
cleansing
little
power of creation.
Hold on there, Big Wheels.
hold up. pump the brakes.
For ages, when the people talk of wandering and of wanderers, yours will be the name we think of.
That's
The torn who wandered the desert and
Haven't you
succeeded.
been paying attention to any of this? Every few hundred years, something horrible happens, wipes out everything. Everything starts from scratch. That's going to happen again soon. Maybe today, maybe this week. Who knows for sure?
But maybe we're the ones to stop that pattern, to truly find some of the answers we all seek. And there's only one way to know for sure, and that's by taking a few more steps towards those mountains.
Here's a more practical question. If we stop here, we are more than halfway. Do you think turning around and returning on the journey we just made, you are any more likely to survive?
Oh no, I want to get out of this cursed desert. Let's go forward. I don't know what Tizzle was talking about going backwards. That doesn't make any sense.
Agreed.
Let's push on for the day then.
I do so in great protest, but you are correct. Going back alone only increases my chance of death. The practicality of doing so would only lead to my death.
Would the chance at yet another night's long and restful sleep, 'tis all, be enough to encourage you to keep moving for the day?
That's a really good point. Something keeps making me fall asleep. Magically, it must be. I don't know what keeps happening, but now I have this doubt that you call doubt. I doubt something makes me sleep. I don't like it here. We need to go.
What he said, word for word, what he said.
There is something strange about this desert.
Agreed.
Like I said, I'd like to get out of it.
Well, perhaps not the desert. This has gotten more frequent as we've gotten closer to the mountains. It may get worse as we approach. I only ask that you steel your nerves as we continue.
Hopefully, it's just a side effect of exposure to this place.
It's almost as if a member of our party bearing feathers is cursed and keeps bringing us bad luck and visions of damnation.
As the one with an exploding rock in his chest.
Let's start walking.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
make like Christopher and walking.
Is Revan leading?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, do it.
Boy, howdy.
Brave Sir Revan, bravely ran away.
I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the mountains and look for any sort of like caves or passages that are apparent, or
Okay.
if there's any obvious structures, like that.
Sure.
But
Okay.
Council's gonna try and make sure that there's no sign of wormage, since we
Okay.
don't have the compass. The last time we checked on
put a
the worm,
worm
it was
behind?
northwest of us, and we've been going northwest for days. So it's just kind of top of Council's mind right now.
Is wormage what a worm leaves behind?
Yeah, it's just worm voodoo.
Worm sewage.
Ooh.
Wormage. Then if you three, specifically Felix, Revan, and Council, want to make me perception checks.
I got
Who's
6.
doing those?
Revan, Felix, and Council.
Okay.
Did
Did
you
I
say
say
you rolled
wander
a
again?
I got a 6.
Is that what you rolled?
Yeah.
18.
Roll a
Wow,
6. 9.
Yeah, I rolled a 6 as well. So I got a 10.
Oh, so a total of 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I got
cool.
18.
18. Let's start with the good news.
Uh-oh.
Felix. Keep in mind, Revan, do you still have your advantage that you could use? Your inspiration? Or did you already use that?
I haven't used it.
Okay, I'm just, if you wanted to get a better roll, you could. Otherwise, if you want to stick with a 10, you can.
I think that's a pretty strong nudge.
Yeah.
No, totally fine.
I'll re-roll. Thanks,
Nope,
DM. That time was a 17, so 21.
Wow.
Hey.
All right.
That's 11 better.
We'll start still with Felix. Felix, you notice where you are walking right now, you are not perpendicular or parallel with the mountains that are north of you, but the mountains that are north of you are much closer than the mountains that are to the west of you. But you are still walking and have been walking more northwest. And keeping your eye along the mountains that are north of you, you're not able to see any detail in them. It's deceiving how far away you are from them. We'll get back to that. Revan, you rolled a 21.
Well,
You-
I didn't roll a 20. Yeah.
What,
Yes.
you got a
yes.
21.
Sorry. Yeah.
You follow the same path that Tizal has been leading you on for the last 2 days. And again, are able to take another day off of your journey.
Nice.
Because of the relative, again, like the sandstorm that blew through cleared away an absolute ton of sand and left a lot of barren earth underneath. That has made your guys' journey for this last couple days much easier, and you're able to follow along with that. Council, for your perception check, you see absolutely no signs of the worm. You don't know if worms travel better through sand or through earth, but where you are walking now it's rougher terrain. You don't know if that contributes or not, but you know that as far as you're able to see, there is no worm.
Okay. He's basically imagining it like a big earthworm.
Yeah. Right. Felix, as you are again studying the mountains, not able to really get a good idea of how far away you actually are from them, you begin to try and like triangulate things a little bit. You're looking at where I am here, how far away do those mountains appear? Like you're almost like this zigzagging in your pattern with the rest of the group. And as you are walking, you actually trip over something in the ground before you. And when you look down, you see a metal arm lying on the ground.
Hang on, everyone. Does this arm look familiar?
It looks very familiar.
Is it detached or is it buried partially?
When you begin to, I'm assuming you like tug on it or something, you give it some amount of pull, you find that it is buried. That it is still attached to something that is underneath the harder earth in front of you.
I start uncovering it.
Okay.
Go and help him when I see what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes you guys only 2 or 3 minutes to clear away enough of the more like compact earth. You find that this area where you're walking actually isn't rock, but just like stamped down dirt. So very compact. You're able to burrow your way down a ways and find a good chunk of the torso of this thing, and you're able to use that leverage to then pull the rest out, and you find that there is a full thing in front of you.
Look like
Is it
Sledge.
fleshy?
It is not fleshy in any way. This is identical to Sledge.
Is it Sledge?
Would you like to know that?
Check his voice box.
Yep, I'm going to look at its voice box and see if I can recognize the work that I did there.
Okay. Make me an investigation check.
18
just-
plus 23.
23. Upon like kind of peeling open this automaton in front of you, you're able to find the voice box, which looks like it is in some working order. It doesn't appear to have been broken, or doesn't look like it was recently repaired.
This might be a different one.
I remember said Sledge saying he was going to find others like him. Perhaps they are all identical. Just a quick glance around. There's no other arms or bits of metal sticking out in the dirt where we are.
Make me a perception check.
This isn't like a battlefield or something.
I would want to look for footprints,
17?
tracks.
Make me a perception check as well, Tizal. 17.
Yeah.
Looking around in the immediate vicinity, you don't see any other
Okay.
arms, legs, body parts sticking out of the dirt.
13.
13. The earth here is too compact to leave much of a trail or a path behind you. You even test it out yourself, like you take a couple steps, stamping a little bit into the earth, and even when you're like stomping your hardest, you're able to leave the faintest little bit of a talon outline.
Okay.
I imagine Sledge and his people were manufactured. From a practical perspective, if they were soldiers having some sort of mold like one crafts disposable weapons might be the same way. Just my guess.
Of course, the Dorn are creating more and more weapons for more and more war.
These are capable of much more than just violence.
Like
But they're
what?
they're probably pretty good at war, though.
Laborers that never tire would also be greatly beneficial.
Hmm.
They could build things. They could
Perhaps
caretake things. You could have one watering a garden, and that's its sole purpose.
That they don't fall asleep on watch.
How many key points do I have?
7.
So, I was asking for a franc.
How heavy is this?
Picking it up, it is the equivalent of like a full plate mail.
I wear it.
So it is very heavy. It is also too small for council.
Dang.
Well, the previous Dwarn feller, he jammed some alchemite in it to power the thing, right?
He
Mm.
did.
Do we have any green alchemite?
No, we have tried that.
Don't. I'm tempted to find a way to bring this along with us.
Is
would
Like
there?
maybe detach its some of its limbs. If you give me a moment, we could share the load.
Share all the load.
Share the load.
Would it be wise to carry a dismembered creature back towards where we think other creatures similar to it live?
If anything, we're trying. It would be possibly advantageous to restore it to working order. So we're just trying to help.
Does- Go ahead.
Wander looks around for anything living. Bird, snake.
Make me a perception check.
10.
You're not seeing anything.
Does Revan know what color alchemite is inside of him? I checked my notes and I didn't write down a color, but I don't know if that's because I missed it or because you didn't tell me, or he doesn't know.
I believe I told you.
I know. I don't know if Felix knows.
What was the question?
What color is
What
the
color?
alchemite?
I thought it was red, but I don't have that in my notes.
It is not
I thought
red.
I thought it
It's
was
purple.
Purple.
It's purple.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, in his chest. Yeah.
Everyone knew except Revan.
Yeah. Wow.
That's fine. You don't have to find
It
my
only stood out
world-building
because
creative or interesting.
it's only stood out because we haven't encountered any other purple.
Right.
No.
It's nuclear energy.
I mean, that's not true. You have encountered other purple.
Really?
Other
In
other
the lady's trunk?
the other crew members.
Well, they're
Yeah.
crew members. Yeah, I'm saying like
Oh.
anything other than someone's heart replacement. We haven't
Right.
like seen it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Revan brings up that his is purple, and it seems to be providing me with life, although perhaps not the source of the
I'm
life.
very curious how purple alchemite is formed. Unfortunately, we
Agreed.
don't know that.
It seems
How
Probably should have.
difficult would
Probably should have.
sorry.
Keep going.
I probably should have picked the captain's brain a bit more on that.
we knew much less about alchemite then than we do now.
Well, maybe you guys.
Is there any way to perhaps chip a piece off of the hunk in Revan?
Isn't
I,
it
I
in his
don't.
chest?
I'm sorry, Wonder, but I won't be letting anyone try that.
No,
Say
no,
don't-
We
no.
almost got rid of Adam again. Keep
No,
going.
no. It's not a terrible idea.
I
Listen
did
to
say
them.
never split the party, but this might be a case we want to split the party first and then try that.
We'll have to continue wondering what that purple alchemite is like, or if we could chip away at it. It's staying right where it is.
Every time there's a brainstorming session, everyone says there are no bad ideas. And inevitably, finally, Wander says something, and everyone's like, whoa.
There be bad ideas, and that is one of them.
So am I able to like get the arms and legs loose? Like, can I like C3PO this and
Put Put him in a backpack.
Are you trying to be gentle about this? Like keep them in working order, or are you just like
Yes.
taking an axe to it? Like, all right, we're
No.
just gonna cut this thing up as much as we can.
I want to put this back together.
Make me just a general intelligence check.
This is a time for inspiration.
Ooh, getting everybody to burn their inspiration.
Worth it. 23.
23. After a considerable amount of time studying this suit in front of you, you're able to loosely piece together how it is pieced together. And you have a pretty good idea of how you could take it apart and be able to still put it back together and have it like in working order, even though it's not functioning.
All right.
Yeah, if you'd like to do that, you could.
Anyone like me help me carry pieces of this?
I can carry some. My burden is much lighter now that I'm, well,
Sure.
not
That
very
does
powerful.
bring up a question. I know that the fleshy folk get uncomfortable when the other fleshies aren't all the way covered up. We'll have to address that whenever we re-encounter civilization here.
Agreed. As long as there's no breeze, my cloak should suffice, but
Hmm,
there
it's
may
true.
be issues.
If we find a forge, I could, make you something there.
I'll need clothes first, but I appreciate the offer.
I have an
Oh.
idea. If we are suddenly thrust upon company, and it's not too sunny, Council, I will give you my hat. And perhaps that could assist you with any coverage that might be required in a situation.
That is very kind. Thank you, Wanda.
Once we get to civilization, we can sew the pelts together or something to fashion makeshift clothing. We can
Fur
figure
clothing in the
something
desert
out.
is not desirable, but
In the mountain.
right. Can you imagine just leather
Oh.
clothing in the desert?
Yes.
Oh, you.
Oh
We
no!
wouldn't run out of water.
The amount of baby powder you would. Oh, gross!
The smell.
Pour it out.
Yeah.
Our water's so salty.
Yeah, I'll give. Council could carry the legs,
Okay.
and I could kind of like strap the torso to my back.
I
Okay.
can bring one arm, maybe.
Yeah, I'll hand an arm to Tizal,
That one
and
arm
I'll
was the difference.
and I'll keep the other arm and study it while we're walking.
Okay.
Me too.
Who carries the head?
It's just attached to the torso.
The torso. Okay.
We leave the head.
Revan mounts it atop his harpoon.
Oh no.
We mean you no harm. We're just here to talk.
We found your friend.
Ribbon, do you remember what your role was again at the start of the day?
17
21.
plus 4, 21.
21.
That's right. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you continue onward for the rest of a fairly uneventful day. You do get considerably closer to the mountains. And by the end of this day, you not only can see the foot of the mountains, you can see where they touch the earth in front of you. You have also discovered an additional 2 suits. Would you like to bring those with you as well, or just the one?
Look any different?
They look identical to the one you have.
Hang on to the one I already have taken apart.
Okay.
Maybe if I notice anything like significantly broken about the suit that I have,
Switch it out for one of the other ones.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it is in remarkably good shape, despite the circumstances in which you found it.
How on earth would so many of these have ended up here?
Council points to the mountain range.
Can I tell what like alloy these are made out of, or like what material?
Make me your like special dwarven intelligence check that you can do, or like history of stone or whatever. I dropped my pen. Now I don't know what to do with my life. I found it.
Also, did you say
I
you
have purpose
point
here.
to the mountains?
Yeah. It makes sense that if these were formed by some great release of energy, that perhaps the residents close enough were flung outward, similar to when red alchemite explodes.
I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse, but it feels like a plausible solution.
I got 18.
18. You know that it's a metal. You are not able to ascertain exactly what metal it is. It's too soft to be a like a hard metal, but it is colored almost like a stainless steel.
Interesting.
I have a. Speaking my mind for a moment, I'm wondering if these were an experimental race that came before us. Maybe they were the ones who lived in this world, and that failed. And eventually, something settled on us. I have very little basis for this guess, but I'm speaking aloud for the sake of transparency.
Spencer, would the the metallic material that they're made of resemble anything we've seen before? Like specifically the bells at the top of those towers? Is it a similar type of metal?
It is not the same as the bells.
Okay.
As far as you were able to tell, the bells in the city were made of like a bronze or a copper,
Bronze.
a much more like orangish brown metal. These are very much a silver.
Oh, okay, they're silver.
Yeah, in coloration, they're silver, silvery gray, whatever. And I know we are at a stopping point for Barnabas, right?
I could go a little bit longer. Yeah. If we're at a natural stopping point, that's fine. That'd be great.
I mean,
We could go a little bit
at
longer.
this point, if you want to just take your last night of sleep, you could.
Our last
one?
night of sleep.
That's it.
Rip.
Good campaign, guys.
Campaign. All
Spoiled the
good
end.
campaign.
The automaton wakes up in the middle of the night and kills you in your sleep.
Oh no!
Plain
I have
simple.
both the legs.
It's a
He
perfect
just
crime.
punches
It didn't
Revan
set
in the
off the
chest
alarm
really
spell.
hard. What was that?
So it was a perfect crime. It didn't set off the alarm spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No ideas, Spencer. No ideas.
I'm not saying anything.
Makes me think of Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie where she makes the armor come alive at the end and fight
Yep.
the
Yes, the suit of armor.
fights the
Ah.
Nazis.
Who would like to have the watches?
Revan will take one, but he doesn't want the first watch.
Council
So
takes
we'll be
first.
first. Council Revan.
Wander can take the last watch.
Okay. Sounds good. Council, make me a perception check.
Ooh, 17 plus 5, 22.
22. As the sun sets over the mountains, one, it gets much darker, much sooner than it has throughout the rest of your journey due to the sheer, like, towering height of the mountains, which you are getting closer to. You are absolutely less than a day's journey away from them, and they are just insanely, like, unfathomably tall. And so even like by the time that people people are normally going to bed, kind of getting their own areas set, the sun is still up to some extent. It's setting, but at this point, due to the proximity of the mountains, people are getting ready almost in pitch black.
Wow. Okay.
So are these taller just from a player perspective, like compared to the Rockies, which I've seen many times or you live very close to? Are they comparable in size or way bigger than those, are you saying?
The ones on the other side of the desert were closer to the Rockies than what you have here. Whereas on the other side of the desert, those mountains you probably could have gone up in a day or two. These would take you, one, because of the steepness of them. They are nigh impassable without some like expert climbing ability. They are also incredibly tall, at times like 5 or 6 of what's on the other side.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
It's like putting like Mount Everest in the middle of Minnesota. Just like, oh wow, that's real friggin' big.
Yeah. Okay.
Good question. Yeah, that's what you notice, Council. Other than that, your night is calm, relatively quiet, and you notice actually with your proximity to the mountains, it's not nearly as cold as it has been on previous nights.
Okay.
You don't have to make a Constitution check.
Yay.
A Constitution saving throw.
I wake up Revan.
All right. Revan. Oh, and also you obviously see the glow and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the glow. It's fine.
You know, whatever. Revan?
You want me to roll?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's your watch. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Perception
I
check.
just, okay. I didn't want to make the assumption. 13.
Okay. Yeah, you see the glow over the jagged peaks to your west the entire night. Other than that, you also notice that it is warmer than previous evenings. Other than that, it's calm.
Part of, kind of off and on throughout the watch, Revan keeps pulling out the compass and just thinking of different things, common things in his life, back to New Orleans, just anything, hoping and concentrating on it and seeing if it blips, if it moves, if it shows any sign of attunement to him.
Okay. Upon pulling it out and trying throughout your watch, you're never able to get it to respond.
Shoot. Okay. All right. Well, I will wake up.
Wander was
Was
the
it
final.
Wander? Yeah.
Mhm.
Wander.
Go ahead, Wander. Make your perception check.
Wander does set up the shield and torch scenario.
So if he falls, okay.
All right. And this is 2, 5 is 7.
A total of 7?
Yep.
Wander, as you sit atop the shield on the torch, trying to keep your eyes open, you do notice after 30 minutes of the silence that you're hearing, you kind of close your eyes and let your roots like dig down into the soft earth here. And for the first time in over 2 weeks, you can sense that there's grass not terribly far away.
Uh-huh.
And that has you distracted for the rest of your watch. You
100%.
don't fall asleep. You are instead more hopeful than ever before with the sensing of life outside of your traveling companions.
Wanda wept.
Yeah.
That's some
And
relief there. Whew.
you guys wake up the next morning.
Cool. That's day.
That was day
17?
6. That was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So this is day 17.
Correct. Who would like to lead for day 17?
Having gone so smoothly the day before, Revan volunteers to lead again, and kind of having this rejuvenated sense of the mountains are right there. Things seem to be going well.
Okay.
Felix is gonna switch back to the enforcer armor. Is that what it's called?
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Guardian.
Guardian.
Eyes up, Guardian. Yeah. All right. Anyway, one question before you take off for the day, Revan. What are you traveling towards? Are you just traveling still in the same direction? Are you traveling just straight towards the mountains?
Same direction we've been heading for the past, week or two.
Okay.
That same general direction is the goal. Yeah. And I
Before
hope Revan knows enough by the direction we've been going to keep kind of repeating that.
I was gonna say I'd probably ask Felix. Tizzle would probably ask Felix maybe now that we're this close and can see the base of the mountain where we should be aiming, as opposed to just blindly going in the same direction we've been going.
Yeah,
Yep.
Consul's gonna ask, like, does this look impossible from here? Like, does it look like a wall? Because I know
I
when you
feel-
approach a mountain, you can see some places to walk, but if this is just like a big,
There, without you having to roll or anything for it, you could see. I mean, there are various levels of jaggedness. So it's not just one flat wall that leads up to a peak. It is like a one smaller wall next to a slightly bigger wall behind or in front of a bigger wall. It is very steep. You might be able to, without any like climbing gear or assistance, make it up some of the way, but without some knowledge of how to get up, you wouldn't stand much of a chance.
Yeah, Felix is gonna still keep his eyes out for any sort of like cave entrances or any signs of civilization, especially with the automatons here.
Okay.
There has to be. I feel like there has to be something, even like if it looks partially buried,
Sure.
and even not on the mountain as well. Just generally keeping an eye out for signs of somewhere to go.
Okay.
Tizzle probably would too.
All right. Then let's make the last 3 rolls of the night then. If Tizal, Felix, and Revan want to make me perception checks. Wander Council looking out for anything, or
he's planning for what we might have to do if we don't find anything.
okay.
Wander's still pretty distracted.
Yeah, Felix.
Let's start with Felix. What'd you roll?
17 using Flash of Genius.
Okay. Tizal?
A 1 using sadness.
Okay. I don't even remember what you were looking for.
A cave entrance.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And Revan.
8.
8.
8.
Is that the
Okay.
survival check for the day?
Huh?
Well,
That's
no, that you said a perception check.
Oh,
That
sorry.
wasn't
I meant
survival.
survival. For you. Since you're leading the party.
Is it worse?
I rolled that as a perception check.
not
And
how
you
it
said
works.
roll a perception check.
Only fair he rerolls?
What was the natural roll?
4.
Does somebody else have their inspiration that they would like to give to you?
I give him my inspiration.
Huzzah!
All right. I'll allow you another
Oh.
roll.
Council pats him on the shoulder. He's like, no, that way.
Mountains.
Yeah, not desert.
Please tell me you rolled worse.
God. Freaking damn it.
So you rolled a 4 then.
So, and I get to add a 1
Okay.
because this
Ooh.
isn't perception, this is survival.
Yeah.
So my grand total is 5.
Okay. I would like everyone to make me a d20 roll, please.
Oh, not again.
We're so close. Oh no!
Does his heart explode?
Yes.
It's not a 1, but it's close.
Wander finally got a natural 20 for one of these.
Oh,
Nice.
Good. I was going to be really sad to make you kill somebody at the party.
Yeah, 3 in a row. Brutal.
Okay, so let's see. Council?
16.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Fear. You got a 4. So Council, you rolled a 16.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go. Wander, you got a 20.
Mhm.
Heck yeah. Let's go. Felix.
11.
11. Tizal.
13.
13.
Everyone's above 10 except Revan.
Revan.
5.
5.
I thought you said we already did our last 3 rolls of the night, though.
Well, that was until somebody rolled a magic number. All right. Revan. You can have one last thing
Crap.
before we end for the night. And we'll resolve the other rolls.
No.
Oh, that's a great reaction.
We'll resolve the other rolls
Wait.
next time.
And he's leading.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
We're so close.
I already know how I'm gonna play this too.
I imagine him going Blair Witch movie and just like yeets the compass into the sand. Like, we don't need this. It's not helping.
Say it was pretty fitting that he tried all night to make his compass work, and it didn't.
Yeah, that. Oh, this is bad. I kind of don't want to RP this because if I'm, oh geez, if I'm successful at what I'm thinking I'm gonna do to RP, it probably won't be a good thing. So.
Oh,
we'll see
don't
what
worry.
happens.
Tizal's never going to listen to you, so you're fine.
It may not be a matter of listening.
Yeah.
That's what me thinks.
This
gosh.
desert.
He is
been-
a master
He
navigator.
disappeared out of the sight of my
Sorry.
Crystal just like friggin' zoomed in here. I did not see her at all until she was right next to my head staring at my monitor to see what I just sent to Adam. Anyway, that was fun.
That's a great cliffhanger to end on.
You
Mhm.
guys are you did it. You're through the desert.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
You're basically through the desert.
we have another session to play first.
There's like one more tile and it might get sabotaged.
We're basically going to have to chase Revan back into the desert.
He can leave.
Felix is like, it's fine. We don't care.
Leave the compass.
Oh, this is going to be really interesting. Oh, and I'm going to have 2 weeks to think about how to play this too.
Yeah, you can plan it out and
Mhm.
Just run anything past me if you want to, so I can keep you from like completely throwing yourself off a building.
Yeah, I don't want to like sabotage the campaign, but I kind of have a feeling what I'll do, and hopefully the party's smart enough and we can get past it. Yeah.
I mean, maybe he does want to sabotage the campaign. You don't know what Revan wants.
Say, as Barnabas has said before, you can't sabotage this campaign. Any one of you could be dead, and the campaign will go on. None of you is that important.
I mean, sabotaging the campaign could also just be leading to a TPK.
And then we'd make new characters and continue the story.
I love those DM
Revan-
pep talks that you give.
None of
Revan
you is
lays
that
down.
important.
Revan lays down in the middle of the party at night, takes his pistol, points it at his chest, and fires.
And then we wait to the next scene with Commander Bevan, who has this very strange compass.
Compass, and he has a pistol.
Yeah, we
and
have
a
Commander
sword.
Bevan, we have Helix,
Mhm.
Stroll,
Drizzle,
Drizzle.
and Flounzel.
Drizzle is actually Tizal's rap alter ego.
Yeah, it's tonsil.
D-Rizzle.
His name is Post Drizzle.
Oh, that sounds like a disease.
Kind of does.
Yeah.